It was unlike any other day, that January 11th, 1981, when the Philadelphia Eagles defeated the Dallas Cowboys to become champions of the National Football Conference. They did it on the strong right arm of Ron Jaworski, the NFC Player of the Year. 27 touchdown passes, only 12 interceptions, and one of his favorite receivers, the great Harold Carmichael. The New York Giants rising from the ashes of a 4-12 season, relying on Phil Simms, the young blonde out of Morehead State, looking for his favorite receiver, Ernest Gray.
Today, the Philadelphia Eagles against the New York Giants.
From sold-out Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, under lead and gray skies that definitely promise a threat of rain. Hi, everybody. I'm Vin Scully, along with John Madden, and John, working with you has already improved my posture. But talking about improvement, what about the Giants coming off a 4-12 record?
You know, as a result of the 4-12 record, they got the second pick of the draft. And with that choice, they took Lawrence Taylor, who many people felt may have been the best player available in the draft, and he can really be a force.
You've been to the Super Bowl. What about the problem Dick Vermeil has with the Eagles coming off a so-so exhibition season?
Well, that's really not a problem when you're out of the Super Bowl in the next year. That's a nice problem, but they had a bad game last week against the Jets, and after the game, Ron Jaworski said, you know, maybe that's not bad to look bad in the last game. We'll really be ready for the first game. And Dick Vermeil said, you can't learn anything from losing except how to lose. I kind of agree with Dick. Okay, Vin.
All right, John. The Eagles won the toss. They have elected to receive. The deep man is Billy Camfield. As you can see, he busted one for 64 in the exhibitions, and Joe Danello will start it off for 1981. Camfield from 4 yards deep, and he can't run it out. So the Eagles will put it in play, 1st and 10 on their own 20, and here's the way they stack up. Ron Jaworski with Wilbert Montgomery and Perry Harrington. The wide receivers are Harold Carmichael and Charles Smith. Up front, and that, of course, will be a key. Walters Kenny, Morris, Baker, Sizemore, and the tight end Krefli. Petey Payro is out with a bad back. And, of course, the offensive line has presented some problems because of injury and inexperience during the exhibition season. So we'll take a look now as they put Harrington on a wing and Montgomery is the setback with Carmichael in a slot right. Now they bring Harrington back out of the eye. And it'll be Wilbert Montgomery, and grabbed down by Bill Neal, the rookie out of Pittsburgh, number 77. Nice way to break in, John. Meanwhile, the Giants with Curtis McGriff in place of Gary Jeter, Bill Neal, and George Martin in the 3-man front. The 4, Van Pelt, Kelly, Carson, and the number 1 draft choice, Lawrence Taylor at the right outside linebacker position. Jackson and Flowers, Reese and Haynes. So a loss of 1, and it makes it 2nd and 11 from the 19. They have Krefli shaken loose wide left, Carmichael and Smith in the slot right, and they go to Harrington. And Harrington across to about the 24-yard line, hit by Martin and also Harry Carson.
As you said, Vin, that was a nice way for the Giants to start. They had Bill Neal in there starting his first regular season game. He got penetration, got into the backfield, and you can see the Giants in here. They're trying to keep that defense together. They have a new deal where they hold hands in the huddle.
Hold hands help?
I don't. It's what you do in the ball snap.
3rd and 6 on the 24. And here's a little shotgun now for the first time, and we should see a lot of that. Flags on the play as Jaworski down the right side. He has Billy Camfield, who is knocked out by Brad Van Pelt at the 34-yard line. John, the shotgun, does that mean you have a poor offensive line or what?
I don't think so, Ben. I think that's all they want to do is get the quarterback back where he can see a little more. on those plays where they know you're going to pass. If they know you're going to pass, why not put the quarterback back there, let him get a jump on it where he can see better? But that didn't help him on that play. They did something wrong, didn't they?
Illegal motion, number 75, offense, third down.
So it is 3rd and 11 on the Eagle 19-yard line. So we've seen the first wrinkle as far as a shotgun pass by Jaworski go awry. Pull up a chair. We're just starting this thing out. That's the way Jaworski has done a couple of years against the Giants. 10 touchdowns, 53% completion. Both backs stay in for the moment now, and here goes Montgomery. And Montgomery hit by Van Pelt as he got to the 21-yard line, and the Giant fans are happy.
I'll tell you, they love that Giant defense on that first series, Ben. I think that's the type of thing that they have to do. You know, the Eagles really haven't played well on offense in the preseason. The Giants don't want to give them any life.
Max Runiger will be punting from the 11-yard line. Alvin Garrett is the deep man for the Giants at the 32-yard line. To the 35, to the 45, and just about to midfield. And the Giants are in excellent position, and there's a few words said already in the early going. 12:56 left in the first quarter with the Giants nothing and the Eagles nothing.
I was talking to Dick Vermeil yesterday. He felt that really early in the season, he says that his offense really isn't ready to play yet, and the defense is going to have to win for him early.
Well, we'll take a look not only at the Eagle defense, John, but we'll also see the Giants. And they send Ernest Gray wide right. They have Freedy going wide left. Play action fake to Taylor. And it's over the middle, complete to Bo Matthews at the 39-yard line of Philadelphia. The Giants with Sims, Taylor, Matthews, Gray, and Freedy. Up front, Weston, along with Turney, Hughes, Simmons, and King, and the tight end is Mulledy. Weston playing for Benson on the left side. So 1st and 10 for Phil Sims and company on the Eagle 39. Ernest Gray in a zoom towards the line of scrimmage, and he'll go to Matthews, trying to get outside. And he's inside the 35 to the 34-yard line at least. And they did a pretty good job. Lawrence Taylor hooking on Jerry Robinson, the linebacker. There you see Hairston, Johnson, and Humphrey up front with Bunting, Chesley, LeMaster, and Jerry Robinson, who was just hooked out on the right side on that last play. Edwards, Logan, Shara, and Young. Shara playing for Bernard Wilson. So it is 2nd and 4 for the Giants on the Eagle 33. They started at midfield, remember. They go slot left, but they put Gray in motion. Second man, that's Lawrence Taylor, and he's to about the 30-yard line. Billy Taylor carrying, stacked up by Hairston, who hit him first along with Chesley. John, any pattern, anything you see early?
Well, we just saw Richard Blackmore come in as a free safety for John Shira, and I didn't see if Shira was injured or what happened on that play, but I think the thing is early that the Giants came out and they passed on first down, and I really like that because what you have to do on first down is mix.
Well, it's 3rd and 1 on the Eagle 30-yard line, and Sims on a sneak. And from this angle, he would appear to have made it. Of course, that's
the old left foot. You see what happened? You see that 15 there? They officially put his right foot down, so it'll probably be a first down. That's the one you get all 22 bodies in there, and we'll see what happens. Ray Perkins is saying that's a first down. I know it.
Ray Perkins is the 11th Giants head coach. He's only 40 years old, but he's aged rapidly the last couple of years.
That coaching tends to do it to you.
Well, we take a look whether it's a first
Well, they'll
down.
stretch it out, and it's good. They knew that before they brought that in anyway, Ben. They just like to get in there and get a little, deal on television, stretch out those chains, make sure they work.
It's good theater.
It sure is. A lot of guys in the game.
1st and 10 on the Eagle 29, and the Giants trying to get on a move. They have Freedy and Gray going left. Mulledy, the tight end, on the right side. Matthews and Taylor, and that's Gray in motion. They'll try Billy Taylor, and he's inside the 25 to about the 24-yard line. They really need the pride of Texas Tech, Billy Taylor.
And that was a good job of blocking on the right side by Gordon King and Roy Simmons. They really got off the ball well, and they got some movement in that Philadelphia defense. Of course, we know that Dennis Harrison isn't playing left end, that Claude Humphrey, who usually comes in the pass, is playing there for him now.
And you can see an Eagle taken to the sidelines. Meanwhile, the Giants, on a busted play, will lose a couple that time. That's John Shira we were wondering about, and evidently his right arm or shoulder.
It looks like it could be a shoulder, and I know when I saw Blackmore came in there, and he's the backup corner, although it looks like a wrist, doesn't it? See, they have the ice there in the wrist. See, he's trying to move it and hold it with the other hand. And of course, Shira was taking Bernard Wilson's place. And there's Blackmore, and he's playing weak safety. He's usually a corner.
So it's 3rd and 4 on the 23, and Sims over the middle to Mulledy. No good. He had Ray Ellis all over him.
And that was the thing. It was a pretty good throw by Sims. We see here he had pass protection. He hits Mulledy, and then Ellis comes in, a rookie, Ray Ellis from Ohio State. He comes in right at the end. See, Mulledy has it there. It just bobbled off his shoulder pad.
So Joe Danilo with Scott Brunner holding at the 31-yard line, so it'll be a 41-yard field goal attempt for Danilo. The spot to hold, the kick is up. The kick is wide left, and for the Giants, who started with everything in their favor, they immediately wind up on a frustrating note. So with 9 minutes and 14 seconds left in the first quarter, the Giants have a chance, but they come up empty, no score.
In just 3 seconds, about this much cold air leaks in through the unweather-stripped cracks around this window. About this much around the door. This is 3M's flexible V-Seal weather strip. How much difference would it make? With this house, in just one day, it could amount to enough air to fill these 3 balloons. Enough to cut the heating bill more than 20%. You just pull it out, fold it, expose this adhesive, and stick it in place. 3M V-Seal blocks drafts around windows and doors better than brass, felt, or foam. It's been lab tested to withstand 2.5 million door openings and closings. You'll find it here, along with other energy-saving products at the 3M Energy Saving Center. You could cut your heating bill more than 20%. 3M V-Seal Weather Strip. A great way to fight rising energy costs.
This is Vin Scully along with John Madden. 9:14 left in the first quarter. No score. The Giants miss a 41-yard field goal. The Eagles put it in play 1st and 10 on their own 23. Wilbert Montgomery is the lone setback, but Harrington will back up to join him now. Now Montgomery on a wing. Well, they'll try Harrington, but he's hit from the left side by Van Pelt, who came in all alone. Nobody had a shot at him.
Well, he was coming on a blitz on that play, and Vin, we just got word that Shira dislocated his right shoulder, so it wasn't a wrist, it was his right shoulder, and it is dislocated.
Meanwhile, you can see Marion Campbell talking to some of his defensive boys, the Swamp Fox.
Right, he's down there, and he's telling them probably some adjustments that they'll have to make now.
2nd and 9 on the Eagle 24. Jaworski hitting Harrington, and he's dragged down by Van Pelt at the 26-yard line. There was a little bit of heat coming in there by the rookie Lawrence Taylor.
Right, and I think that Ron Jaworski was telling the referee, hey, once I throw that ball, he can't touch me. He wants protection from his offensive line, but also he wants it from the referee, and that's the referee's job, is to protect the quarterback.
A team last year that had a lot of turnovers was Baltimore, and Baltimore opening up with New England today. You can see Jaworski appealing.
That's why they call him Jaws.
And there you can see Baltimore leading New England 3-0 in the first quarter. 3rd and 6 on the 27. Jaworski from the shotgun, and Martin's got him.
I tell you, these fans love that defense today, Vin. but we're going to see something here. George Martin is usually the left end, number 75, and they're moving him around today. He's going to be like Ted Hendrickson. See him come from the right side, and he wasn't blocked. They're going to put him at left end. They're going to put him at linebacker or at right end. That time he came from the right side. The Eagles had never seen that.
The second punt for Max Runniger now, kicking from inside his 5. Alvin Garrett is standing on the Giant 37-yard line. Nice snap from center, and somewhat of an end-over-end punt, and Garrett will take it at the 45, hurtling across the 45-yard line of the Eagles and brought down at about the 43. Mike Curcio, number 57, in on the hit. So on a wave of early season enthusiasm, the Giants have the ball in good field position. No score.
If you've ever had the feeling you had to wait forever for a Subaru station wagon, here's good news. They're available now with on-demand four-wheel drive or front-wheel drive. But because of Subaru mileage, Subaru sticker prices, and Subaru durability, better see your Subaru dealer soon before they start disappearing again. Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way.
Beach closed. It's Miller time.
For shrimp bar
Let's go get a beer. Yeah, we earned it.
Everybody get in the car. Miller time so pleasing. Now let's head it to the shipwreck bar. Hurry to the happy hour. Happy hour. Good times are here. Good times are here. Come on to the happy hour. Happy hour. Miller's got the beer. When it's time to relax, one beer stands clear. When it's a happy hour, Miller's got the beer.
Today on CBS Sports, the action continues as the greatest tennis players in the world compete in the U.S. Open Tennis Championships. Coming up after the game today on CBS Sports.
Friends, this telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or the use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New York Giants and the National Football League is prohibited. That's Alvin Hooks, the rookie out of Cal State Northridge, a free agent, signed and hurt his knee for the Eagles on that kick. And here's what happened.
And we see it right here. You see he comes diving over the pile, and look, it was his left knee. His leg was up in the air, and he got the leg hit right in the air. His left knee.
So Alvin Hooks, who is only a 170-pounder, he was sandwiched on that punt return. Of course, for Dick Vermeil, an ominous beginning. First he loses Shara, now he has Hooks hurt, and the game has just begun. 1st and 10 on the Eagle 43. Gray is right. Freedy goes wide left, and they have Matthews and Billy Taylor. Sims releasing to Matthews. A little screen on the left side. Flags on the play, and he's brought down at about the Eagle 33.
One thing I like about the Giants, and the penalty will probably be against the Giants on this play, but the thing that they're doing is they're mixing up their plays with run and pass on 1st down. And look here, here's a 3rd Eagle down, and that would be a tough one because that's Charlie Johnson. He's really the leader of that defense.
I was going to ask you about leader of the defense. Because Bill Berge has been out, a lot of people wondered, does a kid like Al Chesley have to suddenly assume the leadership?
Well, no, he doesn't.
Holding.
Chesley,
Offense, number 38. 1st down.
Chesley will assume Berge's position on defense, but the leadership can come from any position, a lineman, linebackers, or secondary. And this man that's down here, Charlie Johnson, what a guy he is. I mean, he's always happy, he's full of life and vigor, and he's really the leader of this defensive Eagle team.
Well, he's had 2 Pro Bowl appearances, 5 years out of Colorado, and they would sorely miss him. No score, 7-13 in the 1st quarter.
To Subaru, an economy car is only economical if it stands up year after year. Spending less at the pump is no bargain if you start spending more at the garage. In a study of Subaru owners, Road and Track magazine said, quote, one of the most trouble-free cars we've surveyed. That makes Subaru the economy car it pays to hold on to year after year after year. Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way.
For whatever you need, take the first step, the Bell System Yellow Pages.
For supplies to build this nursery, for all the furniture you see, I took the very first step.
For this wallpaper so nice and sweet, and wool to knit booties for her feet, we took the very first step.
The first step puts you steps ahead, saves time, money, energy. So let your fingers do the walking.
It's the very first step, the first step.
Charlie Johnson is shaken up, but as you can see, he leaves the field under his own power, and that's good news for Dick Vermeil and the Eagles. And Ray Perkins, meanwhile, had a holding call charge against Billy Taylor, nullify that screen pass to Bo Matthews. So it is 1st and 18 on the Giant 49, and Charlie Johnson wants to get back in there. Taylor behind Matthews out of the eye. Second man Taylor. He's buried as he got across the 50. Al Chesley hit him straight up, number 59.
We're going to see Chesley on this play. He's the man that has taken Bill Bergey's place. Look, it's a little counter here, and we see this straighten up. Now watch Chesley come in here, square right there, wrapped arms, gets him going backward. And there's another injury on the play.
This time it's Carl Hairston, John, the defensive captain.
I'll tell you that. We hope that these people are all okay because this is a brand new turf out there, and I wonder if they're having a little problem maybe getting their feet caught and in twisting and turning, maybe some ways that they don't twist and turn.
So in a little more than 8 minutes, we've had 3 Eagles injured. John Shara going out with a bad shoulder. Charlie Johnson shaken up, although Charlie looks like he'll be able to get back in. And now Carl Hairston, the 6-year veteran out of Maryland State. And of course, remember, Dennis Harrison with a sprained knee is going to be out for a while.
He's already out. Bernard Wilson is out. And of course, Alvin Hooks was injured also.
Let's take a look at that play, John.
See if now Hairston is a right end, and he'll come in on the left side of the picture. Now watch here. It looks like he just tackled his own man. See, he's tackling his his left linebacker, John Bunting.
It was a nice tackle.
It was a nice tackle. Good form. Head up, eyes looking straight, toes pointed straight ahead.
So it is 2nd and 15 on the Eagle 48-yard line. So Sims on his 3rd drive of the day. It's to Billy Taylor coming back, and Jerry Robinson knocks him out of bounds at about the 45-yard line. So Billy Taylor saying shucks as he comes back to the huddle. Meanwhile, we can check another score. Seattle is leading Cincinnati 7-0. That's a 30-yard interception returned by John Harris of a Kenny Anderson pass. So it'll be 3rd and 12. On the Eagle 45-yard line. The Giants have had it at the Eagle 50. They had it at the Eagle 43. Now they're back on the Eagle 45.
I wonder if we'll see we're going to see a timeout. I was just going to say, I wonder if we'll see a Giant shotgun here, and that's probably what Phil Sims was wondering too, and he called timeout to go talk to his coach.
That's not exactly what you want to do, waste a timeout in the first quarter, is it?
No, you hate to do that.
In most commercials, the cars start up here with some help from a helicopter. But these babies from Subaru don't need help. They can switch from front to four-wheel drive, and for tougher going, they keep going with the dual-range gearbox. Any cars would look good up here, but all Subaru four-wheel drive cars even look good getting up here. Subaru, inexpensive, and built to stay that way.
Hi, I'm Rusty Jones, and I'll fight rust for as long as you own your car, even where a factory warranty leaves off. From the rocky coast of Maine to the Gulf of Mexico, thousands of dealers offer my Rusty Jones option, the one new car option that appreciates in value. I'll stay with you.
Hello, Rusty Jones. Goodbye, Rusty Cars.
Monday on a 1-hour WKRP, the doctor goes disco. Has he lost his mind or sold his soul? It's a special 1-hour WKRP Monday.
U.S. Open Tennis Championships later on today. We'll see Bjorn Borg versus David Carter. Right now, Jimmy Connors in the third set against Andre Gomez. It's 1-1. Connors leading 3-1. Third and 12 on the 45 of the Eagles. And it's Billy Taylor inside the 30-yard line. He beat Jerry Robinson.
He sure did, so you hate to see those timeouts, but Phil Simms may have come up with the play that he needed. A third down, they don't go to the shotgun. Here comes the Eagle pass rush. They go to a four-man line, good pass protection. Taylor gets past Robinson.
So Billy Taylor, a very busy man. 3 times in his career he's rushed for 100 yards. That's what he did last year at the end of Phil Simms' passes. First and 10 on the Eagle 29. Ernest Gray in motion to the right, and it's Taylor. And this time he is upended. Ernie Hughes, the center, tried to get a block off, and he was stopped by Johnson, Charlie Johnson, which reminds me, you've got a converted guard playing center for the Giants. That sounds like a problem area.
That is tough because he's not used to snapping the ball and still having to block. And then in your first regular season game, you get up over that ball and you look across there, and the man is Charlie Johnson, an all-pro nose tackle.
Second and 9 on the Eagle 28-yard line. The Giants started this drive on their own 43. Leon Perry is in there now, number 30 for Bo Matthews. And it goes to Perry, and he is stymied. Both LeMaster and Robinson stacked him up at about the 23-yard line.
Phil Simms is there, and he wants those plays to come in a little quicker, I think. See, he gets them signaled in, and he was given a signal. Come on, hurry up, give me something, give me something. He finally gets the signal, and he says, geez, you better hurry up because there's only 17 seconds on the clock when I got that signal.
And it's now down to 11 as they come to the line of scrimmage. Third and 3 on the 22. 8 seconds left on the clock. In motion now is Johnny Perkins, and with 2 seconds and a high snap, Simms gets it to Perkins, juggling, still on his feet inside the 15-yard line for the first down.
Look at the crowd. They love their Giants, and they love the shotgun. I think that Phil Simms wanted a shotgun play. I think that's what he was signaling for. He got it a little tough snap. See, he had to jump up a little for it. But one thing about the shotgun, you're back and you can see, and then you can step up like Simms did on that play. That's one of the advantages.
So it is first and 10 Giants on the Eagle 13-yard line. Johnny Perkins last year catching 14, good for 3 touchdowns. Perry is the setback, and Perry trying to follow Turner's block, and he is drilled at the 10-yard line and hit hard by Blackmore, among others.
One thing that the Giants are doing is they really do have good mixture. They're running right and left, short pass, a little deeper, they're going to the shotgun, and they have a nice offensive mixture.
The Atlanta Falcons, who might very well be the power to be reckoned with, leading New Orleans 7-0. Bartkowski to Wallace Pansis, 10 yards and a touchdown. Second and 6 on the 9-yard line of Philadelphia. Intended for Tom Mulledy, and Randy Logan was right there defending.
And they didn't block John Bunting on that play. We see Bunting there, big number 55. He really came on a blitz. 95, did I say 55?
Hey, John, you like Atlanta?
I think that Atlanta has the best talent in the NFC, with all due respect to the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think some of their great talent are younger, but yes, I do.
Well, it'll be third and 6 on the Eagle 9-yard line. No score, 3:22 left in the first quarter. Billy Taylor and Leon Perry. Gray and Freedy on the left side. And Simms is going to run with it to the 5. And Ray Ellis, along with Carl Hairston, hitting him at the 5.
I'll tell you, Perkins is upset. Look, he's saying go for it. Or he's not. I guess he's saying go in the kicking team. He was mad at that, but really the pass protection was pretty good on that, and Simms just didn't have anyone open. But Ray Perkins said this is the second time we've been down there, and we still have the same number of points, none.
Well, this time the line of scrimmage is the 5-yard line. It's 4th and 2. Bruner, that's Scott Bruner, the second-string quarterback, will be holding for Danilo. He'll spot the ball at about the 12-yard line, so it's a 22-yard field goal attempt. And a delay of game against the Giants.
I'll tell you, they didn't like to do that. You know, that doesn't give your kicker a lot of confidence when you say, go on in there and kick the doggone thing. And they took a little too much time doing it.
Delay of the game, offense number 18.
What about the extra 5 yards, John? Is that actually better, perhaps, for Danilo?
It could be better because he's on a hash mark, which means he has to kick it from the side, and the 5 yards may be advantageous here.
And there it is, up in the air, and good. So the Giants, who've been frustrated a couple of times, finally get the plaudits of the crowd as Joe Danilo bangs it through. And with 2 minutes and 27 seconds left in the first quarter, the Giants leading Philadelphia 3-0.
That really wasn't the type of applause they wanted. I think these fans were ready for the touchdown type applause that they haven't gotten yet. But if the Giants just stay solid, they're okay today, Vin.
So Phil Simms, who knows what it's like, they had the Eagles pinned to the mat early last year in a game here when an opening fumble gave the Giants particularly good field position, but they were still steamrolling. Say, you know, there'll be more great NFL action next week on CBS Sports. Atlanta, Green Bay, Chicago, San Francisco, Detroit, San Diego, Los Angeles at New Orleans. John, you and I and the folks watching today will see the Giants in Washington, St. Louis, Dallas, and Tampa Bay at Kansas City. Billy Camfield, who didn't have a chance to run the opening kickoff back, if you remember. He took it 4 yards deep and muffed it. And now Joe Danilo will kick off. Camfield will come up for a short kick now and take it on the 3. And he is tripped up hard at the 17-yard line. Alvin Garrett along with Hunt coming down to make the cut. That's Byron Hunt.
Of course, that's good coverage. You know, you always feel that anytime you can get the other team inside the 20-yard line, that you had a good coverage.
So Dick Vermeil wants his ball club to get moving a little bit.
I know it. And, you know, he said that, he was saying last night, every time that they come in and play the New York Giants, he said they always have trouble with him. He said he's anticipating it today, and he's getting it.
Yet they have an 11 straight winning streak against the Giants, haven't lost to them since 1975. 1st and 10 on the 19. And it's Montgomery. He got away from Flowers, but he ran out of real estate, and he goes out of bounds at the Eagle 24.
That's the old thing. You know what they were trying to do there, Vin? They were trying to take advantage of Lawrence Taylor, the rookie, on the right side, and you give him flow to one side and come back with the reverse, and I didn't see Lawrence Taylor there. They may have taken advantage of him.
And they're probably also looking at Larry Flowers, who has 1 year, but he was injured almost all of last year, so he's just about an untested rookie in the backfield. 2nd and 5 on the Eagle 24. They send Charlie Smith and Harold Carmichael in a slot right. Keith Krepfle is the tight end. And it's Wilbert Montgomery and Bill Neal in the middle of the line. Double sevens was there to slow him down.
Old double sevens. I know that, you know, he has to be happy with the start of his play. I was talking to his coach, Bill Parcells, yesterday, and he was telling me the only thing that he worries about, if he gets frustrated, he gets too aggressive. You know, the old deal where you put your head down and you're going like a bull.
The Giants in Detroit scoreless in the second quarter. Pittsburgh leading Kansas City 6-0. So it is 3rd and 1 on the Eagle 28. Here comes Harrington, and Harrington is out across the 35-yard line with Kelly and Reese and Carson all over him.
I think this is what the Eagles would like to do. They really haven't gotten started yet offensively. In fact, they feel that they haven't even gotten started offensively yet this season. But just to get a few first downs here, kind of get going, get a feel and a flow of the game, and then get into what they really want to do.
Well, it'll be 1st and 10 Eagles on their own 36-yard line. Smith and Carmichael right, and they'll try Montgomery. And Montgomery Montgomery finally dragged down across the 45-yard line with some great special effort, and Terry Jackson knocked him down, and they rode Lawrence Taylor out of there.
They did, and Wilbert Montgomery cut inside of Taylor. You see him out there, 56. But watch Wilbert Montgomery. He is a great running back. He's never down. He doesn't stop. He always keeps those feet going. He's always going straight up the field, and he had a little shoe trouble there, but that'll slow him up for players.
He gave Beasley Reese a little headache on that head-on shot. 1st and 10 on the Eagle 47-yard line. Little release to Harrington. And he gets across midfield. The last man to touch him was Curtis McGriff, number 76.
I think we can see in the Philadelphia Eagle offensive game plan that they want to work their left side, which, is towards the side of Lawrence Taylor, the rookie, and, of course, Curtis McGriff, who's starting there at right end.
So the quarter has ended, and thanks to a 27-yard field goal by Joe Danello, Giants lead 3-0.
This is Polaroid's new Sun camera, a new system with the fastest color print film made, 600 speed. But it needs one more thing to turn bad light into good pictures.
What's that?
A piece of the sun.
Daddy long legs.
There, a piece of the sun does it.
Turn this bad light into a good picture.
Sure, you use this on every shot. You see, you've never been so sure of an instant picture.
Lovely. Now you just reach up.
Well, don't waste it.
You've never been so sure.
If you've ever had the feeling you had to wait forever for a Subaru station wagon, here's good news. They're available now with on-demand four-wheel drive or front-wheel drive. But because of Subaru mileage, Subaru sticker prices, and Subaru durability, better see your Subaru dealer soon before they start disappearing again. Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way.
Come on, guys, I'm all fished out. Besides, it's just about Miller time.
It's about that time. It's about that time. I'm going back. The sun's about to set. It's time for the finest beer they can get. When it's time to relax, one dish that's clear. You got the time. We'll all got the beer.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way. And by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer.
Bjorn Borg and David Carter coming up after our football game. Meanwhile, Jimmy Connors is leading Andre Gomez 2-1. 2nd and 7. The ball just in Giant territory, and the Eagles trying to make their first drive of the day. It started on the Eagle 19. Little release to Montgomery on a swing, and he's inside the 40-yard line. Brian Kelly finally takes him down at about the 37.
There's Bill Berge in the sweatsuit on the sideline. Of course, we know that he's out. He was just talking to John Shira, who was also on the bench a second ago. One thing that I think we ought to realize that John Shira, in addition to be the starting weak safety, is also the holder on extra points and field goal. There's John Shira there. So he had a dislocated shoulder that they put back into place.
Well, it's 1st and 10 on the Giant 37. Wilbert Montgomery spins and is dropped at the 31-yard line. George Martin and Harry Carson made him spin around like that as they hit him from either side.
It was interesting. I said that they were working the left side, and just as we said that, they started to work the right side.
Variety is the spice of life.
That's really what it has to be. That is true. That any time that you get predictable, then the defense gangs up on that side.
Hey, John, what about motion? The Eagles don't use too much motion.
No, Dick Vermeil says that he doesn't believe in it because he wants his quarterback to know where the defense is going to be.
2nd and 4 on the Giant 31. So Jaworski knows where the Giant defense is right now. And he goes to Montgomery, slowed up by Neal. So young Bill Neal, the rookie out of Pittsburgh, number 77, hooked him with an arm. That slowed him down and busted the play.
You know, I think that in the preseason, the Giants played a very standard defense. And today they're doing a lot more stunning and bringing their linebackers. And Guy Morris had probably never seen Neal go to the right or the left, which he's doing right now.
Bill Neal along with George Martin and Curtis McGriff. Gary Jeter, of course, sidelined. So that's put a lot of pressure up front. And the rookie doing very well. 3rd and 4 on the Giant 31. Out of the shotgun. He's going to be driven out of bounds at the 16-yard line.
We're going to see this shotgun again. And one thing that they don't like is in their shotgun, they've been throwing to the inside guys all the time. It's always to Camfield and Montgomery. When they go to the shotgun, they haven't yet gotten the ball to their outside receivers. But that's pretty good if you get the first down anyway, whoever you throw it to.
Well, they started on their own 19-yard line, and the Eagles have moved it to the Giants' 16-yard line. So they're on a roll. Duck in another score for you. As Seattle added 7 more to lead 14-0. Jim Zorn to Steve Largent. That was Van Pelt hitting Montgomery and stopping him at the line of scrimmage.
I think that was one of the things that Van Pelt was coming. He was coming on a blitz and getting penetration, and he got in the backfield before Montgomery had a chance to get started.
It was Van Pelt, who went to school at Michigan State, was unhappy for a while until he got the contract that he wanted, and of course he's a great player to have. Dallas on the board, leading Washington 7-0 in the second quarter. 2nd and 10 on the 16. The tight end in heavy traffic makes a gutsy reception with Carson and the rookie Lawrence Taylor all over him.
You know, I've always said that the closer you get to the goal line, the more important a big tight end is, because you can see him down here. We see Jaworski go back. See, he can see Keith Krefli. He's running it in here. See him right there. Boom. He gets him the ball right between the defenders. Krefli has the first down, although they're going to mark it. Oh, they don't have the first down. Oh, they do have the first down. I knew they had it.
Sooner or later.
All the time. Never a doubt.
That must drive you a little crazy on the sideline sometimes when after a play they'll say you missed by an inch.
That's right. That is, you hate to leave it short.
Keith Krefli making that big reception. So it is 1st and goal on the Giants' 6-yard line. 3-0 New York, but the Eagles now apparently on a big move, starting on their own 19-yard line. And look at Jaworski, 5 for 5.
It's about as good as you can get.
Harrington and Montgomery, the running backs. And he'll go to Montgomery. The ball is punched loose well after the whistle, however. Well after the whistle.
It looked like a jump ball or something, didn't it? You know, that's one thing Wilbert Montgomery does. Now watch this. As we come here, he's going to go off to the right side cut. Now watch him keep his feet going. He gets hit there, but the feet are always going boom, 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 boom. Now someone comes in, grabs that ball. Van Pelt it was. Up it goes, the old jump ball trick, but they said that the whistle had blown before the jump ball.
Harry Carson just missed him in the line of scrimmage. In fact, a yard back.
A lot of them missed Wilbert Montgomery.
Yeah, that how. 2nd and goal on the 1. So Perry Harrington, the 2-year man out of Jackson State, punches it over for the touchdown. He had a 19-yard touchdown return last year against the Giants.
Of course, the Giants were down low. The Eagles got a little movement, and Harrington went up and over. Now, this is one thing that the Eagles were worried about, not having Leroy Harris. They didn't feel that Harrington was really a short yardage or goal line type fullback.
Now let's see about Tony Franklin. He, of course, is a big part of the Philadelphia story. Jaworski, the holder, and the kick is perfect. And, of course, as Franklin kicks the way they expect him to kick, they really have an extra weapon this year.
He sure is.
So with 11 minutes...
Stay that way.
In Hawaii, we call the gift of giving Makana Aloha. And for over 30 years now, the Friendly Skies have been giving the gift of Hawaii. We gave the Burmans a waterfall in Kauai. We gave the Dolans a sunset on Maui. Dave Smith got his golf course. And we gave the Millers their second honeymoon on 4 different islands. We've got a gift waiting for you, too.
In our little corner of the world, by the friendly skies.
Alvin Garrett is the deep man for the Giants. You can see his return numbers from last year. On his right is Pittman, and on his left is Dennis. And you can see the birdcage. Danny Pittman has a hairline fracture of the jaw, but he is playing and heavily protected. Meanwhile, barefoot Tony Franklin kicking off for Philadelphia. And it's going to be Garrett from a yard in to the 15, 20. Out of bounds around the 24-yard line. Maybe they'll spot it at the 25, and the Giants will put it in play. The scoring drive, it took 13 plays, started on the Eagle 19, and they covered the 81 yards in almost 6.5 minutes, with Harrington scoring from 1 yard out. A big play was a pass to Billy Camfield and another pass to Keith Krefli.
There was a penalty on that, Vin. I think they're probably going to kick it again.
They give us a chance to mention Tony Franklin. Franklin last year kicked 16 of 31 field goals, and Vermeil was outspoken in his criticism. In the exhibition season, Tony was 7 for 7. 6 of his field goals were 42 yards or better, and the word is he has shaped up his act, John.
You're sure Dick is upset about something, isn't he? Well, he may be upset to see if Krefli's okay or if he's injured, but he's telling him that was a pretty good drive. You know, you should have went outside instead of inside or up or something. But Tony Franklin, I think he's one of the most enjoyable players in this league. He's always fun to talk to. He's a fun guy, and even when he wasn't doing well last year, he was still a great person.
Tony, a third-round draft choice out of Texas A&M. He kicked 2 field goals against Baylor of 64 and 65 yards. That got national attention for him. So from the 30-yard line, he'll kick it short this time to Garrett at the 10, 25, 30. You can take a good look at some coverage by Ray Phillips.
He's one of the best cover men that the Eagles have. You know, this is so important, these special teams, and people like Phillips. It's not always the fastest guy down. Watch Phillips, boom, he takes his shot, he keeps going, he's still looking for that ball carrier. Get over here, find him right there, and get in on the tackle.
So the Giants 1st and 10 on their own 33, and here's Doug Coder. And Coder is out of bounds at the 40-yard line, a pickup of 7 for the Giant veteran, who is healthy and figures to see a lot of work.
That's one thing. You know, if the Giants can get a little running going, if they can keep their running backs, Billy Taylor and Doug Coder, keep them healthy, get some running, where all the pressure doesn't go on their passing game and Phil Simms, they'll have a chance offensively.
Oh, it's 2nd and 2 on the Giant 41-yard line. In motion is Coder. No good. Intended for Gary Shirk, and Al Chesley was right there to break it up.
That's one of the things that the Eagles feel about Chesley is that, you know, in his replacing Berge, they figure that they lose a lot in not having Berge on the field, but Chesley is really a better pass defender.
The question, of course, with Berge is if he'll ever come back.
That's right. He thinks that he can and will, and knowing him, he's one of the most determined people in the world.
So it is 3rd and 2 on the 41-yard line. It's Matthews, and Matthews up across the 45 to the 46-yard line for the first down. Let's check a few scores now around the league on this opening day. Miami leading St. Louis 3-0 in the second quarter. Seattle pouncing on Cincinnati, striped helmets or not, 21-0.
Right, and when Seattle gets going, they can really go.
They're knocking the stripes off the zebras. 1st and 10 on the Giant 46-yard line. Giants going slot left, and Perkins in motion now out of the slot. Baxter had him and wouldn't let go. Just about at the 45, and he spun for maybe a yard. Baltimore leading New England 10-7 in the second quarter. And we try and keep you apprised of all the football action around the country on this opening day.
They all start 0-0, don't they?
Boy, and how, forget the exhibition.
Can't win them all unless you win your first one.
2nd and 8 on the 48-yard line. And Sims releasing to Matthews, and he took his eye off the ball. He was looking at Charlie Johnson, who was going to come over and bury him, and he dropped it.
Well, that was a double type of screen. They had a motion. They had Bo Matthews. They had two people out here screening. Now watch Hairston here on this. Watch him. He goes a little thing. He tries to get spin. Another one picks him up. He has the center in there waiting for him. The off guard. He says, "The heck with it. I'll go downfield and see what I can do."
So it's 3rd and 8 on the Giant 48-yard line. They started on their 33. Over the middle. And a good catch by Billy Taylor. He had Chesley all over him.
That's one of the things, Vin, that get me every time that it's done. I just, when you have 3rd down and 8 yards, if you're going to throw the ball, you have to get all your receivers up beyond the 1st down marker. And it never makes any sense to me to complete a pass on 3rd down and have to punt.
And that's exactly what the Giants have to do with the NFL's leading punter, Dave Jennings, at the wheel. Wally Henry standing at the 9. Flag on the play. Henry is down at the 22-yard line. Gary Shirk, the tight end, is there, and he's not about to shirk some fisticuffs with Wally Henry.
I'll tell you, the intensity, we were talking to the man that just punted that, Dave Jennings, yesterday, and he was telling Lawrence Taylor, he said, the intensity will go up 75% when the regular season opens tomorrow.
Shirk, by the way, is 6'1" and 220. Wally Henry is 5'8" and 180. Looks like something fell out of his pocket.
Out of Shirk's pocket. But Wally Henry was smart enough to do that on his sideline. He wasn't smart enough, the Eagles weren't, to avoid a 15-yard penalty.
Holding by the receivers. Post-possession, 10 yards. 1st down.
Sorry, Chuck, that was a 10-yard penalty.
10-yard, putting it back on the Eagle 12-yard line, with the Eagles leading 7-3, 8:28 to the half.
Bid $100,000 for this Mercedes-Benz today, and you'll bid too low. Offer the owner of this Mercedes $300,000, and he'll just smile. $50,000 for this Mercedes? Not enough. Classic engineering breeds classic resale performance. When it comes to retaining value, the cars of Mercedes-Benz have made history, and history does have a way of repeating itself.
Before a day of breaking surveys, I get the Edie's for my Wheaties.
Before I whistle passing completies, I get the Edie's for my Wheaties.
The Edie's for Wheaties. That undeniable, irresistible urge for the crispy, crunchy, whole wheat taste of the breakfast of champions.
Before I slam my gorilla donkeys, I get the Edie's for my Wheaties.
Part of your good breakfast.
Today on CBS Sports, the action continues as the greatest tennis players in the world compete in the U.S. Open Tennis Championships. Coming up after the game today on CBS Sports.
Eagles 1st and 10 on their own 12-yard line, leading 7-3. Smith is right and Carmichael left. And it'll be Harrington. And Harrington runs into a gang just shy of the 15-yard line.
What they like to do there is they have 2 tight ends in there, and now they're sending Wilbert Montgomery back in, and we see the plays. See, Dick Vermeil has the plays he wants on that card, and then and this is what the card looks like. See, 1st down, then he has runs on the left, passes on the right, then he has, in that situation, the 6 plays that he wants to use.
Well, we'll see one of them right now. It's 2nd and 7 from the 15-yard line. Over the middle, almost intercepted by Brad Van Pelt. He had it and couldn't hold it.
And Brad Van Pelt could see touchdown, and that's what he's thinking now. He's thinking, geez, I not only missed an interception, maybe I could have had a touchdown. See the line, the Giants are bringing some line. Look at Van Pelt. He's right there. The ball hit him in the right shoulder.
It was intended for John Spagnola.
Dick's thinking, I want to look at this chart again and see maybe if I have a better one in there.
Dallas, Washington, even at 7 in the second quarter. Theismann disconnected. Kansas City leading Pittsburgh 10-6 in the second. Meanwhile, it's 3rd and 7 on the 15-yard line, and the Giant fans have come alive. Out of the shotgun is Jaworski. Montgomery, and dragged out of bounds by Lawrence Taylor, but not before he picked up the clutch first down. A pretty good fake by Jaworski before giving the ball to Montgomery.
It was, and he had to. See, now here's a shotgun. He starts 5 yards. He drops back another 7, ends up 12. So he has plenty of room to see. Montgomery was on a little loop to the outside. He knew where he had to go to get the first down.
Does Jaworski look at his receiver, or is he good at looking off defenders?
Sometimes I felt that he looks at his receivers too much. On that one, he didn't, though, Vin. He looked off.
1st and 10 on the 25-yard line for Philadelphia. And it's to Montgomery, who is drilled by Brian Kelly at the 30-yard line.
You know, the one thing that we haven't seen yet is a completion to an outside receiver. I wonder if that's the way the game is going now, where it's all going to be passing a lot more, but it's always to running backs and tight ends.
In other words, out of the shotgun, is there a better reason for going to the wings or to the short men?
Well, I think they're closer to him, and maybe, you know, the shotgun, the quarterback can see better, and maybe he can see the inside people better.
2nd and 5 on the Eagle 30-yard line. They'll try Harrington, and he's swallowed up by George Martin, who hit him right at the line of scrimmage, and he barreled forward for a yard or two.
I'll tell you, this, you know, field position is always so important, and this really changes things because the Giants had him backed up. And had they forced a punt, they probably would have gotten the ball at midfield.
Yeah, because the Eagles, because of the post-possession holding penalty, had it 1st and 10 on their own 12-yard line, and they've moved it out to the 34, where it is 3rd and 1. Montgomery and Harrington with Carmichael on a wing. And it's Montgomery straight ahead. I should say Harrington with Montgomery on the wing. They use 2 tight ends on that play all the time. What exactly will that do, having 2 tight ends when you go up the middle?
Well, what you like to do is that spreads the weak side linebacker out, where he can't stack and get in on an inside running play. He has to widen out and get on the line of scrimmage, and he can't help inside. Does that make any sense?
I think so. I'm writing it down anyway.
Thank you.
1st and 10 on the 37-yard line for Philadelphia. They're leading 7-3. Spagnola. Upended at the 42-yard line. He was hit by Lawrence Taylor and Larry Flowers. And a ball, apparently the fans thinking about that loose ball.
Watch a pursuit on this. Watch Lawrence Taylor here, their first-round pick, number 56. He starts back and pass. He sees it's a screen. Now watch him come across the field. This is the one thing that he can do, rookie or no. He can really run, dodge, makes a hit. Now, the rule here, the reason that's not a fumble is that the ground cannot cause a fumble. The ball came out not as a result of the hit, but as the result of hitting the ground.
So it is 2nd and 4 on the Eagle 43. They've moved 30 yards so far, and they go slot right. Carmichael in the slot. Wilbert Montgomery. And Brian Kelly has him down low as he crosses the 45, falls forward to about the 46-yard line. Montgomery, as usual, is a horse. He has carried 10 times for a very tough 36 yards. For the Giant defense, they're being picked apart.
Yeah, but had Van Pelt held on to that one, that may have been one incompletion. It went the other way, or one completion. I guess it's still a completion.
So as you can see, the ball is just shy of the 47-yard line. 3rd and 1. Jaworski threw 8 interceptions during the exhibition. Is there a reason for that, John?
Well, they say that he had a plan that wasn't based on the defense they were playing, just something that they wanted to do in preseason.
3rd and 1 on the Eagle 47. On a sneak, it's Jaworski.
You see him put his head down there and go through. He looked like Bronco Nagurski or someone. Watch him. Watch him. He puts his head down. He's expecting to get hit early, and he doesn't. Look, he's ready to get hit. There's no one there to hit him. He just went down and picked up the first down.
He followed the Guy Morris freeway.
Yeah, he sure did. Those quarterbacks, they don't do much of that.
Well, 1st and 10 on the Eagle 49-yard line with the Eagles leading 7-3. 3:41 left in the first half. He got away from Carson, but Haynes and Martin got to him.
They almost didn't get that play started. Perry Harrington tried to line up in the same spot as Montgomery. Montgomery had to say, no, get away from here. Get over on the other side because they're going to throw it to me on this side.
Well, that moves the ball into Giant territory to the Giant 47-yard line where it is 2nd and 6. Carmichael right, Smith wide left. This is to Smith. No good. Terry Jackson right there with him. I was wondering when they were going to throw to a wide receiver.
That's the first pass I think that they've thrown to a wide receiver. Now watch Jackson. See, he can bump within that first 5. He's okay. Now the defensive back should do that. Look into the receiver, not back away. And then when his hands go up to catch it, you stick your hands in there. That was a great picture of the way that a corner should cover a wide receiver.
That was Terry Jackson, the 4-year man out of San Diego State who missed half the season last year with a dislocated shoulder. His brother played for Oakland and the Rams, Monty Jackson.
The Eagles are sure having trouble with injuries.
Steve Kenny is shaken up, and of course he means a great deal since Petey Payroll has been hurt. Kenny, normally a tackle backup, has to play guard today. So with 2:47 left in the half, the Eagles leading the Giants 7-3.
Just imagine if everyone drove a car like the Honda Civic DX, there'd be more room on the freeways. There'd be more space to park. And we'd probably all use less gas. The Honda Civic DX, it could make life a lot simpler.
Honda, we make it simple.
If you use unleaded super, you could be burning more octane and spending more money than you have to.
We're doing something about it.
At Sunoco, we give our customers a choice. If they need high octane, they can use our Unleaded Plus. It's got all the octane most cars need, costs less than our super, and only Sunoco has it.
Switching to Sunoco's Plus was a big plus for my pocket.
We're doing something about it.
There's number 62, Petey Payroll. He's been out with a sore back. But he's going to be on the left side at left guard, replacing the injured Steve Kenny, who originally replaced him. 3rd and 6 on the Giant 47. And again, it's Montgomery. And they box him in. Van Pelt brings him down along with Frank Marion, shy of the 50-yard line. Jaworski just looks right at Montgomery.
I know. Well, you know, first he was looking downfield at Carmichael, see, and he couldn't find Carmichael, so boom, he had to come off to Montgomery, and of course it's way short of the first down. Van Pelt was right there with him.
So it is 4th and 11 on the Eagle 48. Max Roniger will be kicking to Alvin Garrett. Garrett on the 10-yard line. We have 2 minutes and 10 seconds, and the clock is counting. There's little Alvin trying to get his hands on the ball. And they're apparently going to let it run down to the 2-minute warning. There it is. So with 2 minutes left in this first half at Giant Stadium in New Jersey, the Eagles 7 and the Giants 3.
Rainmaker to ground, you copy? You're right on target, Rainmaker. That was a good drop. A couple more just like that one ought to do it.
Raj, we're just going around for a little swim and pick us up a refill. Tell that fire not to go anywhere till we get back here.
Okay, you give us a good one.
Here comes a big splash.
Okay, good. Bullseye, you got it.
You trying to tell us it's Miller time?
Roger, over and out.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller tastes too good to hurry through. When it's time to relax, one beer stands clear. If you've got the time, we've got the beer.
Saturdays this fall, Walt Disney is coming to CBS, bringing you excitement, thrills, and the brightest of stars. Join the fun on Walt Disney.
This has been Scully along with John Madden at Giant Stadium. The Eagles leading the Giants 7-3. The Eagles on a 4th and 11 on their own 48 will have Max Runniger punting. Alvin Garrett standing on the Giant 10-yard line. Ron Jaworski going over somewhat of a frustrating day thus far with his coach Dick Vermeil. 12 seconds left on the 30-second clock, and Runniger using all the time. And he arrows one down to Garrett, who will let it hit. And it is down by Ray Ellis inside the 5-yard line with 1 minute and 50 seconds left in the half. So Ray Ellis hustling down there to down that punt for Philadelphia and put the Giants in bad field position.
That was a perfect punt by Runniger because he didn't want it to turn over. Now watch it here. As the ball hits, it doesn't turn. See, it hits the way it's coming back. So instead of going into the end zone, it bounces back.
7-3 Philadelphia.
Today, when many makers are taking quality out of their cigars, Dutch Masters is putting more in. Many others have switched to manufactured wrapper that isn't all tobacco. But Dutch Masters still grows premium leaf to age into our famous light-colored natural Claro wrapper. And now Dutch Masters is enriching its blend with Havana seed tobaccos. We're putting more quality in so you get more pleasure out. Dutch Masters Panatellas, naturally worth more.
This car is out for a Sunday drive here at testing grounds in Ohio. It's the 1981 Honda Accord with front-wheel drive, 4-wheel independent suspension, a 5-speed transmission, and rack and pinion steering. We've tested the Accord under grueling road conditions you wouldn't encounter in a month of Sundays, because life isn't always a simple Sunday drive.
Honda, we make it simple.
After that excellent punt by Max Runniger, it is 1st and 10 on the Giant 4. You see Miami leading St. Louis 10-0 in the second quarter. And San Francisco 3, Detroit 0 in the second quarter.
Billy Sims probably hasn't gotten warmed up yet.
Dallas warming up, however. They're leading Washington 14-7 in the second quarter. The latest, a 42-yard pass, Danny White to Drew Pearson, and some things never change.
You know, Dallas has won 16 straight openers.
Phil Simms.
He was over there telling the defense. He was talking to the defense and saying no dunking the center. Remember that in the street? The quarterback is saying no dunking the center.
1st and 10 on the Giant 4-yard line. Charlie Johnson right over Ernie Hughes, the Giant center. And it'll be Perry, and he got out maybe to the 6-yard line. Might have picked up 2.
I wonder if he was telling Johnson that he was going to run right at him, which they did. Watch him. Now watch Johnson in the middle. He's there. See, he stands up his man. He stands up Hughes. Right there, there's no place to run. In fact, he ran into his own man. That's what a nose man should do. Pick up the center, put him in the backfield, and let the runner run into him.
And with time running down on the Giants, 2nd and 8 on their 6-yard line. It'll be Perry looking for a hole. And he got out to about the 10. That's a tough purchase of 4 yards.
And the Eagles will probably take a timeout now, which they are. See, they have 2 timeouts. They'll take one now and one after 3rd down, see if they can get the punt and take one more shot at it.
So we have 1 minute and 5 seconds left in the half, with the Eagles leading 7-3.
Hi, I'm Randy Logan of the Philadelphia Eagles. And this is a friend of mine, Craig Nelson.
Hey, Randy, I'd like to talk to you, but I got to go run my race.
Okay, good luck, Craig. Do a good job, all right? Okay. I know you will.
Thanks a lot.
As a United Way volunteer, I've worked to help Craig find that confidence. He's a boy who wanted a chance, but reaching out and helping someone can make all the difference to them and you.
I've got a story to tell you about a very special pair of sneakers. I call them my lucky sneakers. I met Randy Logan. He gave me the chance to work in doing odd jobs. He also gave me these special sneakers, and he gave me the courage and the will to make it in life.
It didn't take much. A little of my time, a pair of sneakers, and a little love.
Thanks to guys like Randy Logan, I can tell you the United Way really does work for all of us.
That's why we want to say,
thanks to you,
it works.
For all of us,
the United Way.
Gary Jeter, the 5-year veteran from USC and the great defensive end for the Giants, went down with torn cartilage in his right knee in the 2nd quarter against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He underwent arthroscopic surgery, and after a piece of cartilage removed, we have him right here in the booth. And Gary, you look all right.
Well, I've been walking around since Tuesday, and I feel pretty good.
That's remarkable.
I'm telling you, it is amazing. Modern technology never ceases to amaze me.
Well,
when I had mine, it was about that long, my scar.
Yeah, the scar as long as one of these yard markers.
Right, yeah.
Sims throwing to Mulledy, and Mulledy is going to be knocked down by Randy Logan at about the 23-yard line. So the tight end Tom Mulledy making the reception, and we thought you'd enjoy seeing Gary Jeter, and particularly seeing him on his feet and talking so optimistically. Evidently, Mulledy unable to stop the clock by getting out of bounds. You can see it cranking down, 37 seconds.
The Giants will just run out the clock, and they're happy to go in just down 7-3.
1st and 10 on the Giant 23. Perry and Billy Taylor, and it'll be Billy Taylor. A loose ball, and the Eagles are on top of it, I believe. It looks like Hairston. I think Carl Hairston, number 78, has his arms wrapped around the football.
I'll tell you, watch this play again. This is one thing you don't want to do when you're running out the clock, and I'm sure the Giants remember this, running out the clock. All they're trying to do is get the half over, to go in there. Now watch the ball pop out just before he goes down. Boom, it's the Eagles' ball, and now they have a shot. All they need is about 10 yards to get in good position for a field goal.
Richard Blackmore had his hands on it, lost it, but Carl Hairston recovered, and there is an ominous note. The Giants committing turnovers left and right, and of course that'll break the heart of any ball club.
And that's number 1 in the NFC last year.
1st and 10 on the Giant 32, Wilbert Montgomery. And he holds on as he goes down at the 30-yard line.
And that'll be the last time out for the Eagles. You know, that just wasn't a run. That was an option runner pass. Montgomery was looking downfield. He had John Spagnola down there. And, of course, Spagnola was covered, so he had to run with the ball. But they were trying to throw the ball in.
So Jaworski huddling with Dick Vermeil on the sidelines, and it looks like the Giants have given the Eagles a little gift here in the waning moments on that fumble by Billy Taylor. Tony Franklin tuning up. To repeat, he was 7 for 7 in the exhibitions, 6 of them 42 yards or better.
Well, and they have to get ready to go, don't they, those kickers? You know, Gary Jeter's here with us, and I would like to ask him in this situation now, I know that in preseason you didn't blitz much. Do you think that the Giants on this second and maybe third down will blitz?
Well, I don't think we will blitz. We'll probably bring an outside linebacker, which I think will be good. No, we're not running our four-man line, so what we'll do is we'll probably use George Martin in a what we call a giant formation and bring it from the outside, or use Lawrence Taylor coming from the other side. But I think this would be a good situation to do that.
It wouldn't be bad to bring both of them. I mean,
well, we don't want to bring
Martin from one side and Taylor from the other side.
Well, a smart quarterback like Jaworski, he might dump to the side that the guy's blitzing from, and it could create a problem. And in this particular situation, we don't want to give him too many yards.
What are the chances of the shotgun here before they break the huddle? What are the odds?
I would say they'll use the shotgun. Yeah. I would say that they'll use it now and then third down if that becomes a possibility.
It is 2nd and 8. The ball on the Giant 30. The Giants trying to sit on the ball. Had Billy Taylor fumbled. It got away from Richard Blackmore, but it was recovered by Carl Hairston. And now the Eagles trying to pick up the extra points.
I think that the Giants are in a four-man line. Look at Franklin. He's thinking. Dennis Harrison just went up and talked to him. I wonder what a defensive lineman would tell a kicker. That would have to be an interesting conversation.
Jim Turner was quoted as saying he was talking to his coach, Red Kelly, one time, and he said to him, "Don't talk to me about strategy. You're just a kicker."
You're just a kicker.
Just a kicker.
They hate that. On that play that the Giants ran, they didn't call timeout. And remember, we saw the clock, and it didn't go.
Well, now they're going to have to crank it all the way back down. It's going to take a moment.
I think what happened is probably the clock operator thought that Mulledy was out of bounds, and he wasn't, and the clock should have been running. And on the play that the Giants fumbled, the clock wasn't running.
Right now, Ray Perkins will be talking to Al Jury, the back judge.
Well, you know what?
Jaworski can go over and talk to Vermeil.
I'm sure that Ray Perkins is saying, how do you inadvertently get 42 seconds? Why isn't it no seconds? See, he's saying, who was watching that? How do we know it's 42?
Well, the line judge, Dale Oram, and the back judge, Al Jury, over there talking to Ray Perkins. Of course, Perkins fit to be tied anyway. He's still not over that Billy Taylor fumble.
And then, of course, Oram is a new official, number 17 there. This is his first year, and Perkins may be breaking him in a little to the National Football League.
Did you ever break in any officials, John?
I used to love it, because in those days they all had large numbers. They were, like 102 or something like that. And I'd say, I know you don't know what you're talking about because your number's too big.
I think they've gotten it squared away. 42 seconds left. The 30-second clock is down to 21. And here we go, 2nd and 8 on the 30. Parker goes wide right. Carmichael in a slot left. And there's the shotgun. Campfield. Oh, and almost picked off by Van Pelt.
Van Pelt was there, and Martin was there. George Martin, when he was coming from the outside. And again, they did go to the shotgun. Now watch here. Now watch Martin come from the outside. See, Campfield had to run around him, and Jaworski had to throw over him. See, he has to throw over Martin, and now here comes Van Pelt. So it was really over Martin and in front of Van Pelt.
That pass was kind of like a dead bird flying to the ground. Well, it is 3rd and 8 on the 30-yard line. Broken up by Harry Carson, intended for Harold Carmichael.
Carson was saying, I wish we could use Stickum, because maybe if I had Stickum and I stuck my right hand out there, the ball may stick to it. You know, he's
that's
satisfied.
the new rule now.
Look at that, no Stickum. I don't know if Carson used it or not, but the ball may have stuck to that right hand.
So Tony Franklin will come in along with tight end John Spagnola, and Franklin will be doing the kicking. Remember, the normal holder is John Shara, but he's out with a bad shoulder, so Ron Jaworski will hold for him. The spot will be at the 37, so it's a 47-yard field goal attempt for Tony Franklin. He kicks it up, and good. So a very frustrated Giant ball club, just about handing the Eagles that additional 3 points. And with 28 seconds left in the half, the Eagles leading 10-3. And for Franklin, a great way to start the year.
It sure is. You know, he had great form. He really got into that one, and watch it. There's no doubt about that. That really split the uprights. You know, watch this. I always wonder if that hurt. You know, and he says that he has a callus where he hits the ball. Now watch, he doesn't have to wait until it's there. See, Jaworski tells him, boom, it's good, right when it went off his foot.
His longest field goal last year was 51, and perhaps his most memorable, he kicked a 59-yard field goal to beat Dallas 2 years ago.
Did you see Dennis Harrison was on the sideline and cheering for him? He was saying, I told you could do it. I knew you could do it. So here's Harrison. You see his hands clapping there?
They also serve who only stand and wait and cheer.
That's also a signal for touchback.
Alvin Garrett standing on the end zone, and to his right is Louis Jackson. We haven't seen him play all day, along with Dennis. And Garrett is going to take this one on the run at about the 6-yard line. And he's upended by Hubert Oliver at the 20-yard line, and down he goes.
Hubert Oliver is one that we haven't seen yet at fullback, but in this game or in this season, I think that the Eagle fans are going to see a lot of him, the rookie fullback. I know that Vermeil and his staff are very happy with his play.
He's the fellow they called Rockman at Arizona, and he just hit like a rock, even though he's on special teams, bearing down to get a job.
I love those nicknames, Rockman. They have to be able to play.
1st and 10 on the Giant 20-yard line. And down goes Sims with Hairston right there. And suddenly the cheers have turned to boos.
Well, you know, they were trying to do that when they fumbled, Vin. They were trying to run out the clock, and now they're just going to fall down and do it. But the fans don't like it. Look at the fan. They have experience.
He looks like a good booer.
Oh, he's good, yeah. He has a lot of experience. He's been sitting there and doing that for years.
I would say he's in mid-season form on opening day. Well, it's halftime at Giant Stadium. Philadelphia 10 and the Giants 3. And Brett Musburger will be along with scores of all the other ball games on the NFL today. And then Vin Scully and John Madden will be back and take a look at the second half. See you then.
That an amplified human voice can shatter a glass is remarkable. That a cassette recording of that voice can shatter a glass is amazing. But after 1,000 plays, can the same cassette still shatter a glass? It can if it's totally new Memorex. Now even after 1,000 plays, reproduction so true, we ask, is it live or is it Memorex?
Now there's a place where they have their own authorized mechanics, quality parts and service, and prices you can afford. Now there's K-Care, found only at Kmart.
I was tired of getting bounced around, so I brought my stagecoach to Kmart for some K-Care. Right now they got Monroe-Matic shock absorbers on sale. Just $11.88 each for many domestic and foreign vehicles. Hey, would you look at that? They're holding up the stage.
Come in for K-Care, only at Kmart.
Quality means that I can go home and feel good about what I've done.
At Ford Motor Company, quality is more than a priority. Quality is job one.
People are taking pride in their work. It shows.
You know, I figure like anything I do, I take a little pride in.
We put out the best effort we can on it, building pride into it. And when you get pride, you get quality.
Better and better, see what we've done. At Ford, quality is job one. Reach out for the best. Don't settle for less. Reach for the stars on CBS. Get in on the fun. Stars are shining bright. Shining bright. Reach for CBS and reach for the stars tonight.
Back at the news desk in New York, Jimmy Connors is being forced to play a fifth set against Andre Gomez of Ecuador. The score is 6-7, 6-3, 6-1, and then Gomez again in the fourth set came through and down Connors 6-3. Jimmy has won the first game of the fifth set. Let's get you up to date now with everything that's going on around the National Football League. The Eagles, of course, leading the Giants 10-7. And how about Tony Franklin? He's coming back. But the story of the game, the AFC East, New England leading Baltimore 14-13 is the count there, and Steve Grogan has fired 2 touchdown passes for the Patriots in that game. Meanwhile, down south, the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints have Bum Phillips now, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are now back ahead of Kansas City 19-10. They have a new extra point man with the Steelers this year. David Trout is his name. He missed the first 2 extra points, but he came back and he nailed the third one, and the Steelers now have gone ahead. Meanwhile, the Seattle Seahawks are embarrassing the Cincinnati Bengals. 21-3 is the count. Turk Schonert now in at quarterback for the Bengals. Kenny Anderson benched. Jack Thompson is out because of an injury in that game. San Francisco beating Detroit 3-0. The story has to be the Niners defense so far. They have kept Billy Sims out of the end zone. Meanwhile, Miami leads St. Louis 13-0, and the Cardinals are going with Neil Lomax at quarterback right now because of an injury suffered by the veteran Jim Hart. The Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Redskins, age-old rivalry. So the best way to go. We'll be back with the Ken Stabler story as the NFL Today continues on CBS after these messages from your local stations.
Be sure to watch a fascinating edition of 60 Minutes, the popular television news magazine that features Mike Wallace, Morley Safer, Dan Rather, and Harry Reasoner this evening on CBS.
Welcome back to the news desk in New York. And when the Houston Oilers arrived yesterday in California,
This is the idea behind the IBM Electronic 75 typewriter, to help secretaries be more productive automatically. It has automatic retyping and revision, automatic centering and underlining, automatic erasing and column layout. The IBM Electronic 75 typewriter. It saves time, and whatever saves time is more productive, automatically.
Miss Jones, are these your gloves?
At Transamerica, we're out to make your life a little brighter with loans from Transamerica Financial.
Last call, flight 1.
With low-cost international flights from Transamerica Airlines. And even with machines from Transamerica de Laval that help light up whole cities.
First-rate service at a fair price. Transamerica. Dial it has national sports news. It's more than rational just to call National Sports for all the latest reports. We're talking national sports news. We've got it all. 900. What a wonderful call. 900-976-1313.
At 50 cents a call, I keep up on sports.
Dial it. We're talking to you.
CBS sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Honda. We're kicking off our season with an all-pro lineup of cars. Honda, we make it simple. Light beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. And by Sears Tire and Auto Center, home of straight talk, good values, and satisfaction.
All Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Giant Stadium. I'm Vin Scully along with John Madden. And, John, there's a problem for the Giants. They're down 7-3. They have the ball, and they are literally trying to eat up the clock. And then suddenly Billy Taylor fumbles, and what it turns out to be is a three-point gift to the Eagles, and they go off the field somewhat down. As Ray Perkins, what would you do at halftime?
Well, what you try and do is you try and go in and say, look, forget that. But, he wanted to get in without that. He was satisfied when they were down 7-3 that they'd go in there and regroup and come out for the second half. And then when something disastrous happens to you, and that was disastrous, then you go in and you're always trying to say it's okay, and you never get really to what you want to do in the next half.
It's very easy for the defense to get emotional, and the Giant defensive squad reflected the emotionalism of the crowd, and they played with a lot of fervor in the first half. It's very hard for the offense to suddenly get back up, isn't it?
Right, it is, and I think that's one thing that the Giants have improved is their defense, as I watched in their first game. But the thing is coming back off those bad things that happen to you, and every time they play the Eagles, they say that something bad is going to happen to them, and then when it happens, they tend to say, I knew it.
You have to keep in mind the Giants have not beaten the Eagles in 11 straight, going back to 1975. The Giants have not won a home game, whether it's here or Yale Bowl or you name it, against Philadelphia since 1972, so losing is kind of inborn. They've got to try and get rid of that taste.
That's the thing that you want to do, and those things are easy to talk about, but they're hard to do, because somewhere in there, it's in there, and you just hope that you can get rid of those things when something bad happens, and you hope that maybe a Lawrence Taylor, a new player, comes in. He doesn't know about all those things, and he just goes in and plays and makes something happen.
Would you expect Phil Simms to suddenly utilize his wide receivers a little bit more? In other words, he's passed to Mulledy and he's passed to Shirk, but we haven't seen Ernest Gray, we haven't seen Johnny Perkins, we haven't seen Mike Freedy. In fact, we haven't seen wide receivers for either team very much.
For either team, and I think that's something that the Giants will do in the second half. I know that early in the first half, they had some good field positions, and instead of taking a shot once in a while and going for a big one or a touchdown, they were content just to stay with the possession type things. And I think maybe they realize that the next time that they get a good field position, they may as well go for one, because they've had success against the Eagles with that in the past.
What about defensively? One of the Eagles' weapons today is the little swing passes to Wilbert Montgomery. Makes him look like Fran Tarkington and Chuck Foreman. That's quite a combination now with Jaworski and Montgomery.
Right, and there's really nothing that you can do about that on defense, because if you bring your linebackers up tight to always play Montgomery, then you're leaving the Carmichaels, the Charlie Smith, the Krefleys open deep. So you have to play off them a little and hope that you can come up and make the tackle when he catches the ball.
John, you're a very physical man. Were you physical in the clubhouse?
Sometimes. I broke a knuckle once. I got a little excited and I said some funny things that I wasn't proud of after I said them, but I would tend to be. I would, kick garbage cans, and sometimes they were full of ice, and not too smart, but
By
physical.
the way, it's not that I want to hold his hand, but I do, if you can possibly see that. Can you see that? That's 100. What that stands for is John Madden was the third youngest coach in NFL history to win 100 games. Curly Lambeau and George Halas and John Madden. And it gives me an opportunity to congratulate you. That's a remarkable milestone, and there's not a scar on you.
Well, there's some scars underneath.
Deep
that's
inside,
where I tell you, yeah, somewhere you know that, ooh.
Well, let's find out not about the scars, but the scratches that occurred during the first half on our statistical board. In first downs, as you can see, nothing really noteworthy there, nor in yards rushing or in yards passing. Actually, a pretty closely contested ball game. The Eagles will be kicking off to the Giants now at the start of the second half. Backing up is Louis Jackson, and it'll go into the end zone. He had Alvin Garrett back there with him. So the Giants will get a chance in the second half to see if they can get their offense started, as Jackson and Garrett will come off, and Phil Simms and company will put the ball in play 1st and 10 on the Giant 20-yard line. Ernest Gray going wide right. Freedy goes wide left, and the running backs are Billy Taylor and Leon Perry. And they'll try Taylor. Billy Taylor picks up a couple. You know, a thought about the Eagles too, John, for them to be coming back from a Super Bowl, even though they're among the favorites for the NFL title. History suggests otherwise, and again, Hairston is down for the second time today. You know, only 2 teams have returned to win the Super Bowl after losing the previous season's title game. That would be Miami and Dallas. So they've got a lot of work to do.
Well, they sure do, and I'm sure that Dick Vermeil realizes that as much as anyone. We see Carl Hairston there. He looks like he may have hurt his shoulder on that play, but he was the guy that made the tackle. You know, he makes more tackles when the ball goes away from him, I think, any defensive lineman in the National Football League.
And yet most linemen would just as soon have you come at him rather than have to run across the field after. 10-3 in favor of Philadelphia early in the third.
Gentlemen, this meeting is called to decide which one of us is the most popular light beer drinker of all.
You must be talking about me.
I vote for my buddy, Boog Powell.
Should I take the minutes?
You can take all year.
Hey, I cast my vote for Billy Martin.
I'll second that.
Me too.
Excuse me, this chart clearly shows what a little showing off can do.
Now, wait a minute. I'm the most popular guy here.
Gentlemen, we a little respect. At least we agree that light beer from Miller tastes great.
Let's do it! Tastes great! Better make it a secret, Valley.
Could we vote for Red Auerbach? Please?
I'm voting for me.
Count the vote, and that's no joke. All right. Gentlemen, we have a winner.
Says here the winner is Bubba Smith.
I knew this was a bad idea.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
So the Giants now have it 2nd and 7 on their own 23-yard line. Looking for Billy Taylor, and he's swallowed up by Ken Clark, number 71.
There's a lot of flags on that play. 2 or 3 of them came out on that one, Vin, so something went wrong. It's probably against the Giants, too. It usually is. Watch this. It's a screen type thing, but the defensive lineman came out, and he was the first guy out there, and that's Ken Clark, number 71.
Ken Clark was butting heads with Ernie Hughes, and then he just left Hughes and ran across the field and molested. And we'll have a holding penalty against the Giants. Those plays take a while to develop, and I guess sooner or later a lineman is guilty of grabbing.
Well, usually on a screen, the lineman has a chance to grab 2 because he has to block 2. He blocks one, lets him go, and then gets out in front of the screen to block another one, and that one looked like it came on the second block.
Holding. Offense, number 68, refuse. 3rd down.
Well, that's J.T. Turner, and there is somewhat of a shocking upset. It's Andre Gomez and Jimmy Connors. Not over yet, but expected Connors to put him away earlier than that. 3rd and 14 on the 16-yard line. That's Hairston. Hairston hit him from the blind side. He's not hurting too much, John.
Look at him. That shoulder was okay. You know, and this is one of the most underrated players in the National Football League, Carl Hairston. He does it all. He's their defensive captain. He wasn't in the Pro Bowl last year. He's one that should be.
Now, that's a very demoralizing turn of events. Dave Jennings punting from the end zone. Wally Henry standing in midfield. The Giants needed to do something offensively, and instead they've gone backwards. And Jennings' punt to Henry will be fielded at the 47. And he got away from little Alvin Garrett, but Garrett at least shook him up as well as hurting himself. And Garrett hurts his right leg, and he, of course, returns the kicks.
The 1981 Honda Prelude is a pleasure to look at in many different ways. You can look at it as a sporty car with front-wheel drive and sleek, racy looks. You can look at it as a comfortable car with a luxurious interior and power steering that comes with the optional automatic. You can look at it as an economy car. After all, it is a Honda. But then again, you can look at it like this.
Honda, we make it simple.
Deadline, Saturday, September 12th at Sears. 3 heavy-duty shock absorbers are now on sale. From $7.99 to $12.99 each, you save 20 to 25% on a smooth ride. And while they last, 25% off at Sears. Weather Handler all-season steel belted radial tires. Save 25%, as low as $29.75 per tire while they last. For great automotive values, you can count on Sears.
She returned to her mother after 20 years.
How dare you come back and make me care?
Betty Davis and Jenna Rowland, Strangers, the story of a mother and daughter, Tuesday.
Don't forget, U.S. Open Tennis Championships, Bjorn Borg and David Carter following football. Meanwhile, Jimmy Connors battling for his life against Andre Gomez. First and 10 on the Giant 47, and here's Wilbert Montgomery, and Harry Carson brings him down at the 45-yard line. Harold Carmichael hasn't touched the ball today. Charlie Smith hasn't had his hands on it. And, of course, the Giant wide receivers have been empty-handed all day.
I don't think there's been one thrown to Carmichael. I think one play that Jaworski may have been looking for him.
There was one to Carmichael, and you remember Harry Carson broke it up late in the first half.
Right, and Stan Walters comes off the field. You know, he's been having trouble with a knee and a groin. I think he may have hurt his groin again on that last play.
Second and 8 on the 45-yard line. Kenny is playing left tackle, and here comes Montgomery, dragged down by the rookie Lawrence Taylor. Got him from behind.
They're going to try Lawrence Taylor and see what he's made of, but I don't think they'll be doing this very much in the season. They're trying to give the rookie, watch his catch-up speed. Montgomery had a couple steps on him, and he was able to take 2 large steps, and he was right at the sideline with him. That's going to be an outstanding player.
Lawrence Taylor, the rookie out of North Carolina, he didn't play till his junior year in high school, and he has 4.6 speed, they tell me. Third and 6 on the 43 of the Giants. Jaworski to Billy Camfield, and Carson can't hold him, and over to get him is Van Pelt and Jackson. And Jackson is shaken up on the play.
I think that this is a big part of the Eagles shotgun, and Billy Camfield, he's going to do a lot like Preston Pearson did for the Dallas Cowboys. He plays the running back, and he's a slot or a wing, and he runs patterns like a wide receiver. But it's always the inside guy on these shotguns who's getting thrown to. Look at Charlie Smith out there blocking. He's saying, well, if you're not going to throw it to me, I'll put on some arm pads and be a blocker for a while.
Well, it's first and 10 on the Giant 26-yard line. And Jaworski intercepted by Terry Jackson. He's at the 15, 20, 25, 30-yard line. Intended receiver was Harold Carmichael.
That was one of those things that everyone says Carmichael's 6'7", and you can throw anything to him. Watch him. He's in the slot, up in the top. You see, he's running an out pattern, and it's way over his head. He can be any height when he's that tall. Jackson was behind, and then he brings the ball right back to Jaworski.
So the one thing that could help a down-spirited offense is a highly spirited defense, and they've done it. A 25-yard return. First and 10 on the Giant 30-yard line. In motion is Ernest Gray. They'll go to Leon Perry. And Hairston can't get him, but other Eagles can. Score of another ball game. Seattle leading Cincinnati 21-10 in the second quarter. Pete Johnson just scored on a 3-yard run. A pickup of 2 on that sweep. That makes it second and 8 on the Giant 32-yard line. So the interception by Terry Jackson. The Giants trying to move. That's Billy Taylor in motion. Overshot Ernest Gray. One of the problems for Sims was heat put on by Jerry Robinson.
By Jerry Robinson, and that's one of the things. You know, he could have had a shot at Gray there, but Jerry Robinson was right at his legs. Now watch, here we see both the receivers coming off. See, one is going to stop and go to the sideline. Gray goes deep, the ball is over his head, but that really wasn't Sims's fault.
No.
That was Taylor's fault, who missed Robinson, that put pressure on Sims, so he had to throw deep to Gray.
Just before Sims threw the pass, he had to look over just to see where Robinson was, and that misdirected. Gray goes wide right, Frady is left, and Sims running out of the shotgun. And he didn't get his first down. He had to get to the 40-yard line. So Ray Perkins, that's kind of a gamble, isn't it?
I think it is. It was a quarterback draw. You know, when you get in a shotgun, you don't have the backs back there. So if you're going to, now watch Sims here. He gets the ball. He didn't go back far enough. It was a little too soon. You see the linebackers were just there waiting for him. Had he dropped a couple yards, let the linebackers go to their drop, then maybe it would have worked.
So Dave Jennings will now be kicking from the 25. His most recent punt, he had a kick out of the end zone. Dave arrows it low to Wally Henry at the 25. To the 30. Still on his feet and out of bounds at the 35. And there's some scuffling going on down there on the Giant bench.
Listen to that. That tends to happen on special teams. Did you see Harold Carmichael, number 17? He was on the sidelines with his helmet off. When the action started, he put his helmet on.
Smart man. It's a 38-yard kick and a 5-yard return. And watch what happens now as Henry tries to get out. And there's some pulling and tugging, and the Eagles don't like it. So with 10 minutes and 3 seconds left to go in the third quarter, 10-3 Philadelphia.
You know people like us, we're teachers, firemen, people just like you. These are the uniforms we wear at work. But these are the uniforms we wear when we serve part-time in the reserves and the National Guard. You see, in the reserves and the Guard, you not only serve your country, you're part of a first-rate team, training alongside real buddies. Yet while you serve, you can live at home and keep your full-time job. Because in the reserves and the Guard, you don't have to give up one life to live another.
The Reserves and the National Guard. Talk to your local recruiter.
Only Jeep would have the audacity to redefine capacity. Introducing the new Jeep Scrambler. Now anything goes. You can scramble a dune, carry a tune, laugh with the moon and the stars. Scramble to market, pack it and park it. Escape from the noise in the cars. Blow your top and keep you cool. Scramble to work or scramble to school. Fill up the tank and scramble away. With the mileage you get, you can scramble all day. New Jeep Scrambler. Now anything goes. From Jeep Corporation of American Motors.
Monday on a 1-hour WKRP, the doctor goes disco. Has he lost his mind or sold his soul? It's a special 1-hour WKRP Monday.
Keep your eye on Harold Carmichael, upper left-hand corner of your screen, number 17. He doesn't have his helmet on. Now watch.
This is a sign of an 11-year veteran. See, he sees the skirmish. He's going to walk away. Now watch right here. Someone is going to throw a punch at Carmichael. See it right there? He takes a step back. Watch him. He'll step back here, put his helmet on, and now take 2 steps forward.
Meanwhile, Jaworski live swings to Montgomery, and George Martin brings him down at about the 43-yard line. We have seen that play all day long.
One of the things that these teams are trying to do now with these great running backs like a Wilbert Montgomery, a Tony Dorsett, is to get the ball out to them where they don't have to run through the line and get hit by linemen and linebackers.
As you can see, Jimmy Connors has gotten off the deck against Ruben Gomez, so it's 3-all in that deciding set. 2nd and 3 on the Eagle 44. Carmichael wide right. Montgomery is on a wing, and they'll go to Harrington. Harrington got away from Martin, Haynes, and Carson knocks him out of bounds. Meanwhile, Dallas adding it on against Washington now, the Giants' foe next week. A 29-yard field goal by Rafael Septien, and it is 17-7 Big D. Miami leading St. Louis 20-0.
Yeah, watch Lawrence Taylor here, right here, number 56. He takes on the tight end, see it's away from the ball. He's working him, says throw him down. You go to the ground, I want to go find the ball. I tell you, he's not only fast and quick, but he's strong. Did you see the strength that he handled that tight end?
1st and 10 on the Eagle 48-yard line. Second man, Wilbert Montgomery, got by Curtis McGriff, but he was hit on the side by Kelly and Van Pelt. And at the bottom is Bill Neal.
And we see Stan Walters back in there now, so I guess that groin or knee is okay.
Hey, John, Lawrence Taylor coming off the campus at North Carolina, and they refer to him as another Butkus. Would that be the highest possible praise for a linebacker?
Probably. Of course, Dick Butkus was a middle linebacker, but I think any time that you put Butkus in a sentence with any other player, that's about as much as you can do.
2nd and 6 on the Giant 48. Swing to Harrington and Curtis McGriff. Curtis McGriff all over him. And McGriff shaken up. He was on the all-NFL rookie team when he came out of Alabama and converted to defensive end.
Right, he was a nose tackle, and we had Gary Jeter here, and we'll see him. See with the left-handed stance here? He starts on his pass rush. It's going to be a screen, so he works out to the side here. Now he's moved to right end from nose tackle. Now watch right here. He goes to make the tackle, and it looked like his leg just flipped, when it was in the air. The old leg whiplash or something. He goes down.
Curtis fights his way back up. He's a big fella, as you can well imagine. 6'5", 270 pounds. He was a free agent picked up last year by the Giants.
He looks like an offensive lineman. Although he was, I guess, a move to defense, but he still looks like an offensive guy. Good number, 76.
Yes, that's the spirit. Don't forget the U.S. Open Tennis Championships. Bjorn Borg and David Carter will follow, and Jimmy Carter and Andre Gomez putting on a show. Jimmy Connors and Andre Gomez. The Giant Spirit, that's called Barisic, number 78. They just picked him up. And it's 3rd and 14 on the Eagle 45. Shoulder catch by Rodney Parker for the touchdown.
Well, that's the one that they were saving, Vin. We were talking the whole time that they hadn't thrown to the wide receivers in shotgun, and they hadn't, but the first time they went to it, it sure worked pretty well, didn't it? See, Jaworski's back there at 5. He drops back 5 more. Just sees Parker out here to the left side, throws it right over his shoulder, and it's all the way.
Parker had a 40-yard touchdown pass called back in Super Bowl because of illegal motion. Maybe this will take the pain out of that one.
Well, he was so happy, he darn near started to celebrate too soon. Did you see that? He started to lift the ball up about the 5. I've seen him spike it at the 2. One of my players did it once.
So Tony Franklin trying to hammer it through. And I mean, he really got that bare foot into it. So the Eagles now are leading handily with 8 minutes and 1 second left to go in the 3rd quarter. Philadelphia 17, the Giants 3, and there's Rodney Parker.
In 1931, Texaco developed a new gasoline for emergency vehicles called Fire Chief. Not just for fire engines, but family cars too. In 1941, Texaco helped create a fuel refining process for the national defense.
For tomorrow, Texaco is working on a way of turning America's plentiful coal into clean burning gas. These are some of the ways Texaco is making good use of America's energy resources.
Announcing Ford's incredible 21-day countdown. With just a few days till the new model year, only Ford offers this great way to save on both cars and trucks. Get $500 back on new 81 Mustangs, new 82 EXPs, or new 81 Fairmonts. Get $500 to $700 on new 81 light trucks or vans. It all adds up to $1 million a day in cash rebates and incentives, and it's a great reason to see your Ford dealer now.
There's $1 million a day coming from Ford.
Today on CBS Sports, the action continues as the greatest tennis players in the world compete in the U.S. Open Tennis Championships. Coming up after the game today on CBS Sports.
U.S. Open update. Connors leading Gomez 4-3 in that deciding set. On the Eagle bench, the wide receivers Charlie Smith, Rodney Parker, who just caught that 55-yard touchdown pass, along with Harold Carmichael and Wilbert Montgomery taking a rest. The Eagles kicking off, and it'll be Garrett taking it at the 4 to the 15, 20, 25, and out of bounds around the 30-yard line.
You know, we saw that shot of those three receivers. You know, in the shotgun, they also put in a third wide receiver, and that's how Rodney Parker got in there.
Well, despite an interception by Terry Jackson, the Giants had to punt, and the Eagles then went 5 plays, 63 yards. Took them a little over 2 minutes. Jaworski capping it with that 55-yarder to Rodney Parker. 1st and 10 on the Giant 30. Sims with Bunting on him, throws no good. John Bunting had him, and then Carl Hairston knocked him down. You were talking about Billy Sims. Well, we're going to go to Brent Musburger and take a look at him at the NFL Today.
Good.
All right, Ben, thank you so much. Indeed, here is Billy Sims striking against San Francisco as Gary Danielson pulls out 39 yards. In college, Sims caught only 2 passes, but look at him now. Touchdown line. Back to Ben Scully.
All right, 2nd and 25 from the 15 as we had a look at Billy Sims up to his old tricks. Meanwhile, they put the squeeze on Leon Perry at the 22. John Bunting and Randy Logan bring him down.
We were just because he had it in his hands for a second.
Atlanta pulverizing New Orleans, so it's a bummer for New Orleans. 21-0 Atlanta. Meanwhile, tough one. Look at that. Kansas City 20 and Pittsburgh 19. Bill Kenny just hit to Carlos Carson for that touchdown.
Kansas City could be one of the most improved teams in the NFL this year.
4th and 17 on the 23. Jennings booting one to Wally Henry. Henry at the 33. And he is grabbed by Lawrence Taylor. And then Byron Hunt, but it was Taylor who hit him first. Those 2 youngsters really flying down there, John.
Lawrence Taylor, as we see him take his helmet off here, he's earning that salary that a first-round draft choice gets.
I can tell a real cowboy from the drugstore kind, clean across Texas. The way he wears his hat will tell you. And the beer that you drink's a surefire giveaway, too. A lot of us drink light beer from Miller. We love the taste, but we surely appreciate that it's got a third less calories than the regular kind. You see, you don't want to be filled up when you're out there punching doggies. Ain't that right, cowboy? I didn't punch that doggie.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
These people all have one thing in common besides a happy smile. They all own dependable Toyota Corollas.
This Corolla is the most dependable car I've ever had.
I can rely on it.
We own 4.
No good. Intended for Ernest Gray. That's the first ball he's had today. Couldn't quite grab it.
Right, and it came very close to coming up with a big play because he had it in his hands for a second.
Atlanta pulverizing New Orleans, so it's a bummer for New Orleans. 21-0 Atlanta. Meanwhile, tough one. Look at that. Kansas City 20 and Pittsburgh 19. Bill Kenny just hit to Carlos Carson for that touchdown.
Kansas City could be one of the most improved teams in the NFL this year.
4th and 17 on the 23. Jennings booting one to Wally Henry. Henry at the 33. And he is grabbed by Lawrence Taylor. And then Byron Hunt, but it was Taylor who hit him first. Those 2 youngsters really flying down there, John.
Lawrence Taylor, as we see him take his helmet off here, he's earning that salary that a first-round draft choice gets.
I can tell a real cowboy from the drugstore kind, clean across Texas. The way he wears his hat will tell you. And the beer that you drink's a surefire giveaway, too. A lot of us drink light beer from Miller. We love the taste, but we surely appreciate that it's got a third less calories than the regular kind. You see, you don't want to be filled up when you're out there punching doggies. Ain't that right, cowboy?
I didn't punch that doggy.
Like beer from Miller, everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
These people all have one thing in common besides a happy smile. They all own dependable Toyota Corollas.
This Corolla's the most dependable car I've ever had.
I can rely on it.
We own 4 Corollas right now, so I know they're well built.
Dependability. It's probably one reason the Toyota Corolla is the best-selling car in the world.
Dependable? Our company bought 34 Corollas.
What a feeling. Dependable. Toyota.
The Eagles in possession, 1st and 10, but they'll be on their own 23-yard line. Illegal use of the hands against Billy Camfield. Number 37, he'll watch Camfield.
You see his hands up in the air. He's saying, I didn't do it. That's what an official probably sees, and he looks and says, you look too guilty.
That's after the fact. 1st and 10, Eagles on their own 23. They're leading 17-3. We have 6:27 left in the third, and there goes Harrington. And he got away from 2 Giants, and finally brought down by Haynes, shy of the 40-yard line.
Now we'll see this from behind. You see, as he comes to the defense, it's a little counter. See, he started to the left, comes back to the right, keeps his feet going all the time. Now get your shoulder square again. That's it. Right up the field. Now come right to us, make a little move here, and then get the shoulders up again. You don't want to run parallel too long.
He made a good move on both Larry Flowers and Brian Kelly. That's what made that play go. 1st and 10 on the Eagle 39. Fake to Carmichael, and a pass to Montgomery, no good. Defending was Beasley Reese. So that's a switch. You fake to Carmichael as a short man, and you have Montgomery the deep man.
That was the thing. He faked twice. He first faked to run, and then he faked to Carmichael, and then he threw deep to Montgomery. And Ron Jaworski's going down and telling the official it looked like he hit Montgomery before the ball got there. I like that spirit in those quarterbacks. Sometimes they have to go out and tell an official something,
Yeah,
too.
when he went down the field to holler, the official Beasley Reese had a few words to Jaworski, too, about hitting it.
Beasley Reese is his first year as a weak safety. He said at first he was playing too aggressive like a strong safety. Then he was playing too cautious like every play was a triple reverse.
2nd and 10 on the Eagle 39-yard line. That's Lawrence Taylor, but he got away from him and threw it away. Lawrence Taylor, the kid, put a lot of heat on him.
Jaworski throws it away. He knew he threw it away. You knew he threw it away. But Montgomery was out there. And if you direct the ball towards a receiver, then they won't call that penalty.
So it is 3rd and 10 on the 39-yard line. You're so calm up here. I was just thinking, if you were down on the field now, you might not have that overall optimistic cool that you're showing.
I used to be crazy, but I've learned to relax.
Welcome to the club.
If you believe that.
Yeah, right. I got some Meadowland I want to sell you.
These are the Meadowlands.
3rd and 10 on the 39. And Jaworski down the middle has got Carmichael, and he's upended by Van Pelt and goes down to about the 42-yard line.
We're going to see this again. You know, he's been looking for Carmichael. We see Carmichael in the inset. He's in the slot. He's running the pattern. He gets by one, turns to the inside. What a target he is. Right in the middle of the field. You see him? He was right between the 2 hash marks, and Jaworski could really see it. Now watch, see now Taylor's on him. Taylor can bump in the first 5. He should have given him a little more of a jam. Now see how you can pick up Carmichael in midfield, and he works back a little.
Good one-handed grab by Brad Van Pelt to knock him down. 1st and 10 on the 42 of the Giants, and Jaworski incomplete, intended for Charlie Smith.
The Eagles had an interesting game plan. They started out running, of course, and throwing to their running backs, and now we can see that in the second half they have a 17-3 lead, that they're starting to open up a little more, and that card that Dick Vermeil has there is starting to come up with a few better plays, I think.
Does he carry it all the time?
Well, he carries it all the time, he says, until the end of the game when he gets frustrated, then he sticks it in his pants. He said, then I'm not looking at it anymore when you see that.
2nd and 10 on the Giant 42-yard line. Jaworski to Harrington, and Harrington runs into Harry Carson, among others. Right now, for an NFL Today report, we'll go back to Brent Musburger in New York. Get a report on Atlanta, New Orleans.
All right, Vinny, thank you so much. The Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints. The storyline, Bum Phillips now takes over the Saints. He's already trailing by 2 touchdowns. Archie Manning pulls out, completes one on the flat. The ball comes loose, and Kenny Johnson scoops it up for the Falcons. And now Atlanta leads New Orleans 21-0. Back to Vin Scully.
6 on the Giant 38, and Jaworski, the left side to Montgomery, no good. He was hounded by Brad Van Pelt. We now get a U.S. Open update in that do-or-die set. Jimmy Connors has taken a 5-4 lead over Andre Gomez. Borg and Carter will follow our football game. With 4 minutes and 5 seconds left in the third quarter, it is 17-3 Eagles. However, Max Runniger will now be punting. Beasley Reese is standing inside the Giant 10-yard line. They don't return Runniger's punts too often. And he's going to try and arrow this one out. It hits and goes out of bounds with a flag on the play.
Well, that flag, Vin, I'm sure one of the Eagles left early, and Runniger will have to do it again. Well, that's out there in the 1-yard line. That's perfect. That's exactly where you want to put it. He just turned and pointed it right to that 1-yard line and put it there.
Legal man downfield.
Right.
So Vermeil is furious, as you can see, discussing the ancestry of some dogs.
Vermeil is there, and he was thinking that with 3 minutes, 50 seconds left in the third quarter, that may have done it. That may have put him out.
You know, although Runniger ranked only 10th in the NFC with an average of 39.
Number 59.
Watch this. Only 35 of his 75 kicks were returned last year. This is a case in point.
Watch him. He takes that ball and he points it right to that first pylon, and he hits it in there perfectly. Look, a little bounce, then it takes that right bounce to the outside. The official's right there, and he says this is where it is.
Runniger will now be punting from Eagle territory, and that means Beasley Reese gives way to Alvin Garrett, and Garrett is standing on the 10-yard line of New York. Wow, almost blocked Frank Marion, and it'll go into the end zone. Frank Marion came within a whisker of blocking that punt.
You usually see that in early season games. You see a lot of games won and lost by special teams.
Take another look.
Runniger got that ball off very quick. It was a perfect snap. Had that ball not been right there, maybe it would have been blocked.
Don't forget, more great NFL action next week on CBS Sports. Atlanta, Green Bay, Chicago, San Francisco, Detroit at San Diego, Los Angeles at New Orleans, the Giants at Washington. That's the one you'll see, and we'll be there. St. Louis at Dallas, Tampa Bay at Kansas City. 1st and 10 on the Giant 20-yard line. Sims releasing to Perry with Turner blocking. And he bumped into Billy Taylor, or he might have picked up some more.
Could have. Now, this is a screen, but it's a running screen. See, it's not a delay. See, he starts out there, Perry starts out there, then he turns the ball upfield right after he catches it. And watch the movement that he's making. Had he not run into Taylor, you're right, he would have gained another 5 or 6 yards.
He got a pretty good block from J.T. Turner, too.
Right, but there's a lot of bodies in there. See that? That's good stuff. A lot of white jerseys, blue jerseys. The intensity really has picked up in this regular season.
1st and 10 on the Giant 37-yard line. He He's got Billy Taylor, and he's to the 45-yard line. He has to get to the 47-yard line for a first down.
You know, when he does get to the 47 or 50, I think that will be the time that the Giants will start to open up and maybe go to their outside receivers the way the Eagles have.
There's Dave Jennings, like all punters, edgy, restless, constantly on the move.
Kickers are different. That's a different breed.
2nd and 3 on the 44. Good reception by Ernest Gray. He beat Herman Edwards by having to come back and get it. First down.
Now that gives them the first down that they've been looking for. Now they have two things. One, they have a first down, and two, they're in Eagle territory. Early in the first half when they got in there, they didn't go deep. They didn't go for a big one. I would anticipate that they will now in this drive.
So 1st and 10 on the Eagle 48. We have 2:20 left in the third, and it's 17-3 Eagles. In motion is Ernest Gray. Here comes Doug Coder. And Coder is bumped out by Randy Logan and John Bunning.
You know, John Bunning is a player that really isn't talked a lot about on this Eagles, but is he solid? You never get much on John Bunning. Plus, he's the guy that calls the defenses. He plays left linebacker, but he gets the signals, as we see him right here. See, he gets the signals from Marion Campbell, and he'll get in the huddle. You just saw him. He calls the defense.
He's second to Carmichael in experience with the Eagles.
I like him.
2nd and 10 on Philadelphia's 48-yard line. Ernest Gray, no good. John Bunning right there with him.
And look at Sims. He's running up there like Jaworski talking to the official, and I agree that the receiver was bumped when the ball was in the air. That's what Sims was saying. They didn't listen to him, though. Look at this one. You know, Don Shula's a great coach. He always gets his teams ready for that opener.
Well, it's 3rd and 10 on the Eagle 48-yard line. Freedy and Perkins go left. Gray goes right, and Coder is on a wing with Taylor. So they go out of the shotgun. And he's got Perkins with a flag all over the place. So hold everything at the 32-yard line, the reception, but flags everywhere.
There's 3 flags back there, and I'm sure it's holding on the Giants. They caught him, and someone must have held because 3 yellow ones came out right on that right side.
So that would have been a big play, but it's a Powder River play. Chuck Eberling, our referee. The umpire is Gordon Wells. The saddest words of tongue and pen. What might have been, and for the Giants, they lose a big gainer. Here's the call by Chuck.
Holding, offense, number 72, 3rd down.
And that's Gordon King, the 4-year veteran from Stanford.
And those are the saddest words that you can hear. 3rd down, you have a completion for a first down, and you hear holding, number 72.
So it is 3rd and 20 on the Giant 42-yard line. And down he goes. Greg Brown, number 98. We haven't seen him today. He's the rookie out of Kansas State. And he's the one they say has a terrific pass rush. Where'd he come from?
He's a natural pass rusher. You know, he's out of Kansas State, but he only played 1 year at Kansas State. He was in construction in Washington, D.C. And we just saw an upset Phil Simms.
Yep.
You know, he didn't have a chance. There was no one open, and he had a big rush. Nothing a quarterback can do about that.
4th and 35 as Jennings punts it to Wally Henry at the 23-yard line. So Henry pinned down at about the 35. At the bottom of that heap, quick to get down was Beasley Reese. 1 minute and 32 seconds left in the third quarter. Philadelphia leading handily now, particularly now that the Giants have had to surrender the ball. Had they completed that pass instead of the holding penalty, the Giants were apparently on a move. But bad clubs make big mistakes.
That's right, and they tend to haunt him the whole year. You know, they've really never recovered from that first half fumble, the Giants.
1st and 10 on the Eagle 36-yard line. Quick release, and Carmichael dropped it and fell on it.
And Harold wants to stay there and think about it because he doesn't do that very often.
Another tennis report, U.S. Open. Andre Gomez is up 6-5 and serving, so he has a chance to put Jimmy Connors away. We'll keep you up to date on that one. 2nd and 10 on the Eagle 36. Play action fake, Van Pelt. The pass to Harrington, and he's decked by Lawrence Taylor at about the 41-yard line. Flags on the play.
That was something of the two great outside linebacker bookends. Van Pelt rushed from the outside. Now watch Taylor. He sees it here. He's playing man-to-man on Harrington. So he sees the ball, throws right back up on him. Boom. He knows how to tackle, doesn't he?
One of the few bright spots for the Giants today, and now another penalty going against New York.
And that looked like they marked off about 20 yards on that one. They don't have any.
Personal
20.
foul, unnecessary roughness, number 56, defense.
Oh, no, Chuck. That's wrong. You know what they had to call him? He can swing his arm as he makes a tackle. He can't swing and hit him in the head. But watch him. He's just wrapping his arms around him. He didn't hit him in the head. He hit him in the shoulder pad with his right hand. There's nothing wrong with that.
Meanwhile, there goes Wilbert Montgomery. And finally knocked out by Bill Courier, one of the newer Giants. Courier knocking him out of bounds inside the 10. But I think that penalty really capped the day for New York.
Well, it sure did, and it wasn't there. But did you see Wilbert Montgomery run on that play? Watch him. When he gets square and turned upfield, there's not many better runners in this league than this man here. Watch him. He gives a little move there in the straight arm, the old straight arm. No tear-away jerseys anymore. Looking to the inside, and he knows where to go.
Bill Courier, they just picked up as a free agent from the New England Patriots. 1st and goal on the 8, and that's Hubert Oliver, but he takes a lick from Lawrence Taylor and Harry Carson.
I'll tell you, Lawrence Taylor has made a number of tackles, and in his first regular season game, wait until he gets 5 or 6 games under his belt. He's going to be a force in this league.
John, do you think that roughness call against Lawrence Taylor would maybe intimidate a kid, make him inclined to be overly cautious?
No, he's too good a player because the coaches will show that there's nothing wrong with that. He didn't swing. You can't swing and hit him in the head, but you can sure tackle him in the shoulder.
2nd and goal from the 7. Jaworski, a little alley-oop, and he overthrew the oop man, Harold Carmichael.
That's what the oop man says. He told me once, he said, just because I'm 6'7", that doesn't mean that they can throw at 8'2". He said, I don't like it when they do because I don't like to be up there exposed. Ooh, look at that one.
Atlanta really jumping on it. New Orleans now, 27-0. Bartkowski to Alfred Jenkins, 25 yards. And a penalty against New York.
Holding, defense, number 10, 1st down.
They're really working these penalties on the linebackers. They got Brad Van Pelt, who plays on the left side holding, who's probably on a tight end.
So Dick Vermeil, with everything going his way now, has it 1st and goal on the Giant 4. Here's Oliver. And a flag on the play.
And these fans are getting excited. They don't like that. It's another one against the Giants.
It's a personal foul against the Giants.
This is a tough one. They're trying to play goal line defense or aggressive. Everyone's down low here. Everyone's hitting. Let's see. Right there. See the
75 on the defense. 1st down.
they got him for was touching the face mask, and that was number 75,
That's
George
Martin. Yeah, Martin's hand just came up out of the pile trying to grab anything, and unfortunately he got the mask. So it's first and goal from the 2.
This is the thing that Dick Vermeil thinks that Oliver can do. Watch this good goal line play. See all those bodies in there? Everyone's staying low. Oliver tries to jump over. There's no place to jump. A second effort. He darn near makes it. But you see the ball didn't reach the goal line. The ball has to cross the plane of the goal line.
Terry Jackson prevented the touchdown. You can see that Connors evidently broke Gomez's serve, and they're 6-all, just as the third quarter ends here. So CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this word from your local station.
Saturdays this fall, Walt Disney is coming to CBS, bringing you excitement, thrills, and the brightest of stars. Join the fun on Walt Disney.
This is CBS. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League has been sponsored by Toyota, who invite you to see all the 1981 cars and trucks at your local Toyota dealer. Transamerica Corporation, the people who give you first-rate service at a fair price. And by Radio Shack, manufacturer of the TRS-80 microcomputer, with a supporting network of over 6,000 stores nationwide.
That's next. Borg and Carter. Meanwhile, Gomez and Connors battling it out, and here come the Eagles. Second and goal from the 1. And again, Carter can't get in. So Hubie Oliver banged again. Harry Carson hit him high that time.
Okay, we'll watch this again. Now, see, the Giants are right up there. They're trying to form a wall. They're staying low. Don't let that ball break the plane. Now, see, they get penetration. Philadelphia doesn't knock them off the line. There's Carson right at the line, knocking him back where he came from.
So it's third and goal from the 1. Harry Carson, very physical middle linebacker for the Giants. Oliver and Montgomery, the running backs. It'll be Montgomery on a wide turn, and Carson can't get him, and he's in. So Wilbert Montgomery, on his 16th carry, has now carried for 83 yards, better than 5 yards a carry, and he picks up the TD.
This is a smart call. You know, they had tried to pound Oliver inside. The Giants were real tough. They couldn't do it, and they said, there's nothing inside. Let's see if we can get Wilbert outside.
The only man who tried to get him was the middle linebacker, Harry Carson, but he was able to beat him in a foot race. And now Tony Franklin trying to make it 24-3 Philadelphia. And he does. So the Giants are in danger of losing 12 straight to Philadelphia. They haven't done that since they had that bad string with the Cowboys.
There's nothing we want to watch on TV tonight, but we're still going to watch something great.
With our RCA video disc player and video discs. Just flip a switch, and on our TV, we see Airplane or The Pink Panther, The Godfather or Grease, Muppets, Monsters, Mickey, MASH, and 100 more. Starting as low as $15, and the player costs less than $500.
Put it this way, we're watching a great movie, and you're watching us.
Deadline, Saturday, September 12th at Sears. 3 heavy-duty shock absorbers are now on sale. From $7.99 to $12.99 each, you save 20 to 25% on a smooth ride. And while they last, 25% off at Sears. Weather Handler all-season steel belted radial tires. Save 25%, as low as $29.75 per tire while they last. For great automotive values, you can count on Sears.
Today on CBS Sports, the action continues as the greatest tennis players in the world compete in the U.S. Open Tennis Championships. Coming up after the game today on CBS Sports.
That tells you about the scoring drive, but it doesn't tell you about the holding penalties, the personal foul penalties that eventually put Philadelphia in such a golden position where Montgomery could punch it over from one. So it is 24-3 Philadelphia. And Tony Franklin kicking deep to Alvin Garrett. He'll take it on the 3 to the 15. Louis Giamona and Blackmore will ride him out.
You see Tony Franklin, he was over there. He would have been the last man. He may have had to make a tackle.
Ray Perkins, before the season started, sometime during the exhibition, said, I'll make a prediction about the Giants season. When they finally lost so poorly at Pittsburgh, the writer said, okay, what's your prediction? And he said, I lied. He's not making any predictions.
You don't want to do that. It's tough enough to coach without being Jimmy the Greek.
1st and 10 on the 33 of New York. Sims to Perry. Perry running into a lot of blue shirts and enough white to bring him down as he crossed the 30. Meanwhile, Dallas leading Washington 20-10 in the 3rd quarter. Septien, another 42-yard field goal. Kansas City and Pittsburgh in quite a battle. Pittsburgh leading 26-23, 42-yard field goal by Nick Lowry.
There's a team that knows how to win, too, that Pittsburgh Steelers.
Don't they ever. 2nd and 10 from the 33. Flags on the play, and the pass intended for Ernest Gray. Ken Clark.
That was called, and it has to be against the Giants and something on the right tackle because that official is keying down the line and the tackle on that side. So it was a tackle, the right tackle, Gordon King was probably offsides.
And the fellow who shot through him was Ken Clark, as Dick Vermeil. Dick Vermeil always looks unhappy,
72.
John.
Offense, refused.
You know, they could be leading by 30, 40 points, and he looks like he's grumpy and grouchy.
That's one of the secrets that we coaches always had. No matter how good things are going, always find something to be upset about. Dick's probably, he's probably mad because the guy's down on one knee there. What are these guys doing on one knee? Are we out of shape? What are they drinking water for?
3rd and 10 on the Giant 33. Sims trying to go deep, and Brown had him as he throws it, intended for Billy Taylor. That's Greg Brown in on him again.
Now that's something. Greg Brown is number 98. He should be a 98. He only played 1 year of college. He was in construction in Washington, D.C. They brought him in. Dick said from the first day he could tell he was a pass rusher.
As Dave Jennings prepares to punt, Baltimore shading New England now, 22-21 in the 4th quarter. Jennings a low punt, and Wally Henry got away from Beasley Reese, but Reese slowed him up, and Garrett finally brought him down. Little Alvin, number 84, is at the bottom of that heap.
That's punt returner versus punt returner. That's one position that I have a lot of respect for, is those punt returners. That is a tough business.
And Garrett has a chance to return the favor and give somebody else a lick.
Announcing Ford's incredible 21-day countdown. With just a few days till the new model year, only Ford offers this great way to save on both cars and trucks. Get $500 back on new 81 Mustangs, new 82 EXPs, or new 81 Fairmonts. Get $500 to $700 on new 81 light trucks or vans. It all adds up to $1 million a day in cash rebates and incentives, and it's a great reason to see your Ford dealer now.
There's $1 million a day coming from Ford.
The United States Postal Service handles 300 million pieces of mail a day. Well, that's their job. But that doesn't mean you have to put your important business letter into that pile. Now you have an alternative. Introducing the Federal Express Overnight Letter. It costs only $9.50 when you drop it off, and it gets delivered practically any place in the country overnight. Absolutely, positively.
Dick Vermeil squinting up, looking at the clock. 13 minutes and 20 seconds left in this game. And the Eagles leading the Giants 24-3, and the Eagles in possession. 1st and 10 on their own 27-yard line. And a fumble. Louis Giamona fumbled the ball.
And that was was one that Dick Vermeil didn't want right there. It looked like the handoff. Watch it again here. Giamona comes through, and it looks like the handoff slips right back on his hip. He got the ball, instead of in his stomach, he got it on his left hip.
And Brad Van Pelt fell on it.
Right, and sometimes it'll hit that pad and just slip right through. Now watch it. Right there, you see it's on his left hip, and it just slipped right out the back. And look at those bodies come flying through the air and leaping on the ball.
So the Giants have a chance to salvage a little pride here. 1st and 10 on the Eagle 24. And Sims going deep for Gray. Defending was Roynell Young.
You know, that's really the second pass today that Gray had in his hands. Now, it would be a tough catch, but those are the kind that you have to come up with. You know, this is what I think the Giants should have done earlier. Go for one. Throw something up into the end zone and see what happens. See, the ball's a little short. He has to come back, but that went right through his hands, and you have to catch those kind.
And, of course, last year he caught 4 touchdowns in one game. And you can see Jimmy Connors in the tiebreaker won at 7-5 to beat Gomez 7-6. That's Frank LeMaster, double fives all over Phil Sims.
And you know, Frank LeMaster came from the area that quarterbacks really hate. Their backside or blind side, where you can't see him coming, nor can you feel him.
Well, that drops the ball back to the Eagle 35-yard line. That'll make it 3rd and 21. 24-3 in favor of the Eagles. The Giants trying to cash in on a Philadelphia fumble. That's Perkins in motion to the right. And flags on the play as Sims shoots it and complete to Mulledy. Roynell Young defending, but there are flags all over the place.
I'll tell you, that Philadelphia Eagle defense is really coming now in the pass rush. I saw the film of their Jet game last week, and their defense really didn't look aggressive and intense, but they are today.
Greg Brown, who is the youngster who does such a good job in the pass rush situation, putting a lot of pressure on Sims. And, of course, linemen love that 3rd and 21. They can really tee off.
They don't have to worry about the run or draw or screen. They just go for the quarterback.
Offense, number 73, 3rd down.
That's Jeff Weston, and he's trying to hold Gregory Brown.
See Gregory Brown, you see those moves that he has where he pushes with the right, gets that left hand up beyond. That's called a swim technique, and then Weston's behind.
Brown is the son of a Washington, D.C. cab driver. One of 9 children. He can sure put on a rush. 3rd and 31 from the 45. And taking it away from Blackmore is Ernest Gray, and Blackmore has 2 hands full of jersey.
Right, on 3rd down, you know, now it'll be 4th down, and the Giants will have to go for it. Now watch Brown come again. Now watch Weston here. He's having trouble with him. Looks like he's holding him again. Once that right hand gets around behind him, you know, he has to, and that wasn't Weston. That was Bill Ard, number 67. He's a rookie. No, they're going to punt. I thought they'd go for it.
No, they got Joe Danello, who is going to attempt a field goal. The spot will be at the 44. So this is a 54-yard field goal attempt for Joe Danello. No good. Wide left. So Danello 6 times in his career has kicked 50-yard field goals, but not that time, and it's still 24-3. Philadelphia.
I think we're lost.
I know we're lost.
We'll never get there.
We're going to be late.
At times like this, it's nice to have a front-wheel drive Toyota pulling for you.
It's just over the hill.
There it is, gentlemen.
The Toyota Corolla Tercel, Toyota's lowest priced car. The Toyota Tercel, a car that pulls its own weight.
And a little bit more.
Oh, what a feeling, Tercel, Toyota.
Here's to good friends friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Alex,
I'm just coming out to look for you, greenhorn.
We took a little detour.
Little detour for what?
Well, we want to say thank you for putting up with us these last couple of weeks.
So we stopped at the store and picked up some Lowenbrow. By golly, you city folks are all right.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
We had such a good time. We're coming back next year. Okay, but don't tell my horses that.
Philadelphia 24, the Giants 3 with 11:38 left in the game. I'm Vin Scully along with John Madden, and the Eagles now put the ball in play. Louis Giamona takes a lick at the 40-yard line, but makes sure he holds on to the ball this time.
To see the signals here now. Now they have a little different. The Eagles, a coach used to signal, and this year they're having the backup quarterback and the coach signal. They're giving them a double dipper shot.
Oh, it is 2nd and 6. The ball on the Eagle 40-yard line. The running backs are Giamona and Oliver. And it'll be Oliver. They stack him up right at the line of scrimmage.
Here we go. We'll watch it now. Of course, this time he may send into plays, but see, Dick Vermeil has his chart. Now he's deciding to play. Now he'll tell it to Joe Pisarcik, number 9. Now he's going to give the signals. See, and then they have the coach on the side, Becker. He's also giving the signals. So now if they steal him, they don't know who to steal him from. Do you steal him from the quarterback or the coach? I'd guess the coach.
3rd and 5 on the Eagle 41-yard line. Second man, Giamona. Giamona is hit hard by Brian Kelly, but not before he got out across the 45 and probably picked up the first down.
Because, Matt, they go through all those signals and then they just run the ball up the middle to the running back. Didn't you think you could just say run up the middle?
Giamona moving it to the 47-yard line, and that's enough for the first down.
Really what Pisarcik is doing there, he has to give 4 signals. He has to give a formation and a play and then the blocking combination or pass pattern.
Giamona is on a wing. Oliver is the setback behind Jaworski. And it's Oliver trying to get outside Van Pelt, and Van Pelt upended him. Another score in that wild one. Baltimore now with a comfortable 8-point lead, leading New England 29-21. A 10-yard run by Randy McMillan. Seattle edging Cincinnati 21-20. A 3-yard run by Archie Griffin. Gets that close.
Yeah, Cincinnati's catching up.
The Eagles have the ball just about at midfield, 2nd and 7. With 8:58 left in the game, and Philadelphia leading 24-3. Carmichael and Smith slot left, but they'll draw to Giamona, and Louis gets down to about the 45-yard line. Louis Giamona, he's the coach's nephew.
That's right, but I don't feel that that's why he's made this team. You know,
in fact, he probably had to make it in spite of it.
That's the way it is. You know, when a coach has his son trying out, it's always tougher, and I'm sure it's been the same with Louis Giamona. That, you know, he has to do a lot of things.
He's only 5'9", but he's 180, 5 years out of Utah State. San Francisco and Detroit all even at 17. Oh, they've got a good show. 3rd and 2. Giamona trying it again. They have to get to the 43-yard line.
You know, he's a real workhorse, Giamona. You know, once they start going, they're going to keep giving him the ball. He's the type of running back who you can do that to. You just give it to him and give it to him and give it to him. He's a lot like Pete Manizak. Those guys don't get tired, they get better.
Last year, he even threw the ball. He completed a 15-yard pass to John Spagnola against Atlanta. So it's 4th and about 1. And Max Runager is in there. He'll be kicking to Alvin Garrett, the deep man for New York. Garrett standing on the 20-yard line. But, of course, Runager figures to barrel it over Garrett's head. In fact, Alvin's coming all the way up on the line.
going to be a block. They're
going to try for it. And he pops it up around the 20-yard line. Inside the 10. And down by Ray Phillips. Inside the 10-yard line.
That was a different type of thing. The Giants had all 11 men up on the line of scrimmage. Runninger still did what he had to do.
So he kicked a poached egg inside the 10-yard line, and it's 24-3.
At Transamerica, we've provided affordable life insurance for 4 generations with Transamerica Occidental Life. We give you great travel values with Transamerica Airlines and budget rent-a-car. We even make sure life's little surprises won't put a hole in your budget.
Arnie, my favorite Transamerica insurance agent.
First-rate service at a fair price. Transamerica.
Let the Radio Shack TRS-80 Model 3 business computer increase your manager's productivity. So when you need that report
tomorrow by 9,
you'll get it. Because the TRS-80 provides instant information access, simplifies planning inspections, prepares error-free documents through word processing. It's the professional, affordable management tool. TRS-80 Model 3 from $24.95 only at Radio Shack, the biggest name in little computers.
She returned to her mother after 20 years.
How dare you come back and make me care?
Betty Davis and Jenna Rowland, Strangers, the story of a mother and daughter, Tuesday.
Slater, I guess. There's Mark Slater helping Joe Pisarcik get ready. Pisarcik, the backup quarterback for Ron Jaworski. His dad's not been well, John.
No, his father had a stroke, and he hadn't practiced all week. In fact, he didn't join the club until last night at the hotel.
1st and 10 on the Giant 8-yard line. And Phil Simms looking left and throwing no good, intended for Mike Freedy.
Looked like Freedy didn't expect that pass. That was one of those quick out timing passes, and the ball was there before Mike Freedy was ready for it.
And Herman Edwards just punched it away. So it'll be 2nd and 10 from the 8. 24-3 Eagles, 7 minutes left, and Simms trying to keep the home fires burning. To Mulledy, no good, broken up by John Bunning, and there's a flag on the play.
And there's a penalty that came real late from deep, and that's usually against the man that's playing on the tight end. So it'll be against the Eagles, and it's probably a linebacker. When they throw that one from deep, it's always something happened to the tight end. It's probably bunting held him.
Pass interference. Defense, number 95, first down.
It was John Bunting, the linebacker. Those deep guys always watch the tight ends and the people on the tight ends.
Dallas leading Washington 23-10 on another field goal by Septien. He's kicked at least 3 of them. 1st and 10 on the 12. Chesley, number 59, wrapped him up with a little help from Carl Hairston. And, of course, Chesley, who is taking over for Bill Bergey's spot. In fact, they used to call him the stunt man because he had to work so hard in practice.
Watch Simms. He turns. He tries to escape. What a frustrating day it must be for Phil Simms. He tried to escape, and he goes outside, and who's waiting for him? Chesley right there.
Those 5 sacks for 60 yards against Phil Simms. So he's looking at a 2nd and 20 from the 2. Intended for Freedy on his hands and knees and OB. So it'll be 3rd and 20. You know, not only is this a rather discouraging start for the Giants on the heels of a bad game with Pittsburgh, but it's a tough way to break in the home crowd, too.
You're right. You know, there were just some fans leaving, and as you see, a lot of the fans left, but as some were leaving up there, a guy yelled up to me and said, "Too bad, John, you have to stay and watch it."
Well, it's 3rd and 20 from the 2. Simms has Mulledy, the tight end, And he's tripped up by LeMaster and finally goes down after crossing the 20. He'll go down at the 23-yard line.
And that'll be just enough for a first down. He just got beyond the first down marker. So the Giants get to practice a little more offense here.
In capital letters on the scoreboard, they flashed 1st and 10, but there wasn't much of a reaction to it by the crowd.
Well, the people that react are leaving.
Yep, that's the reaction. 1st and 10 on the Giant 23. Sims being rushed by Bunting, throws on the run to Leon Perry. No good. Leon got his fingertips on it, but couldn't hold it.
I will say this in defense of Sims. You know, in the papers it'll come out that his completion average wasn't good, but he did throw some good passes that were dropped today. He had, you know, when you hit a receiver, running back or a wide receiver in the hands, they have to catch those.
I think for the Giants, probably the play they'll never get over today. They were very much in the game until they were just trying to sit on the football in the closing seconds of the first half, and Billy Taylor fumbled.
And I think that took everything out of him. I really do. I mean, that's a real turning point.
2nd and 10 from the 23. Humphrey putting on some pressure. They set up a screen for Billy Taylor. He's to the 40. Still on his feet. And finally brought down by Blackmore and Robinson inside the Eagle 40-yard line.
There's a little crowd reaction now. That's bringing him back up again. This is a good time to screen a pass. I mean, to throw a screen pass as we look at here, because the linebackers are deep. Now watch Simmons come here and watch the block that he's going to bid. Taylor waits. He sets him up. Simmons turns him out. Taylor takes a dip to the outside.
He was able to move Randy Logan out of the way just long enough for Taylor to get the extra yardage. So it is 1st and 10 on the Eagle 38-yard line. Intended for Mike Freedy with Herman Edwards right there with him.
You know, as we watch Mike Freedy here, I'm not really sure how he came back. He still has a bandage on his knee. He had surgery, and he has a real scar. I mean, his scar must be 8 to 10 inches. And you know, the first game back, you're really not what you're eventually going to be.
Boy, and he was something. He had 7 passes against Dallas. He had 6 against Green Bay. He put on some remarkable acrobatic shows here. 2nd and 10 on the 38. A fumble, and Sims goes down underneath the pile. So the Eagles playing hard and sitting on a 24-3 lead. Sims has passed for 16 for 30 for 124. Jaworski 16 for 26 for 158 and a touchdown.
And I know what Ray Perkins is thinking right now. You hate to see that. I mean, that's so fundamental, the exchange between the center and the quarterback, that it's getting to a point where it really is frustrating.
3rd and 8 on the Eagle 36. In the air, no good. Flag on the play. Reggie Wilkes almost caught it after Herman Edwards hit it.
And the flag will probably be against the Eagles. And again, once the ball's in the air, nope, it's not against the Eagles. It'll probably be against the Giants.
Not bad. You only missed by 1.
Yeah, well, it's either has to be white or blue. That's Al Jury. He's a highway patrolman. He's a policeman in San Bernardino. You ever see him?
No, I hope not.
Holding, offense, number 67. Holding, defense, number 46. Offset, same down.
I knew it was against the defense.
You see, you were right.
Yeah, because after 5 yards, they can't touch the receiver, and I thought I saw some contact down there in the Eagle defensive backfield. See, we'll see it here now. Here's the offense. You see the holding right there. It's the right hand around behind. Oh, geez, that's a real good hold. That's an all-pro hold. And then the other one happened in the defense.
That's Billy Ard who had that all-pro hold. Now it's 3rd and 8. Intended for Gary Shirk, and Jerry Robinson, the linebacker, was right on him.
That was one thing where Gary Shirk jumped a little before he should have. You want to run through those types of things.
It is 4th and 8 on the Eagle 36.
This man has had a long day. Claude Humphrey, he's not used to playing an entire game, and of course he had to today, but you know, he's been in there the whole time, and he's used to just coming in and rushing the passer on passing down.
Even on a brief time under those conditions, he had 14 and a half sacks last year. 4th and 8 on the Eagle 36. Perkins in motion to the left. Sims down the middle. He's got Gary Shirk. Logan pulls him down inside the 20-yard line for the first down.
I'll say one thing about Phil Sims. He keeps standing in there and throwing those things. Of course, he doesn't have a lot of alternatives, but you know, this is a practice. You know, I mean, they can get some things, and it is a good experience, and they hope that they can get it together for next week.
The Eagles leading 24-3, 3 minutes and 30 seconds left, and the Giants have it 1st and 10 on the Eagles 17. In motion, Johnny Perkins. And Greg Brown lowered the boom on Sims again. Right now for an NFL Today report on the Dallas-Washington game. Let's get an update and go to Brent Musburger in New York.
All right, Vinny, thank you so much.
So, Dennis Thurman makes a big play, and Dallas is breezing, and the Giants will be playing Washington next week. And Phil Sims out of the shotgun. Flag on the play. Pass to Perkins. He's dragged down by Roynell Young inside the 10, but there are flags all over the place.
I think that'll be against the Eagles, though. I think they jumped before the ball was snapped. Did you see that? Dallas is winning a game in their dark jerseys, but they have new jerseys this year.
We mentioned earlier the Giants lost 12 in a row to Dallas before last year's upset, and they're on the edge now of losing their 12th in a row to the Eagles.
All right. What?
Take the down. Keep the down.
What's that number, Ray? Number.
He doesn't know that he has his mic open, Vin. Let's listen to him.
Offside. Defense. Number 98.
Oh, that's
second
down. So Brown got through there a little early to put a lick on Phil Sims. There he is.
He is an impressive pass rusher. You know, Dick said he was just a natural.
So it's 2nd and 5 on the 12-yard line. Inside handoff to Billy Taylor, and Hairston read it, and so did Wilkes, and they take his helmet off.
That didn't fool the Eagles, did it? And I'm sure that, you know, they're playing against a team that also uses a shotgun. You know, that was a shotgun run, but the Eagles practice the shotgun every day in practice. So when you get into something like that, it really doesn't fool them.
You know, in watching the Eagles today, the sign of a good ball club, especially opening day, this is not their great effort. They've been just good enough.
That's right, and those are the games that you have to win. You know, you have to win when you don't play great.
3rd and 12 on the 19. Sims to Perry. Perry to the 5. Perry for a touchdown. Leon Perry, 2 years out of Mississippi.
Phil Sims was saying it's about time. I needed that earlier. You know, he gets a touchdown, but he really isn't happy.
No.
So he wanted that. He would have liked to have that in the 1st or 2nd quarter. But still, he gets the ball out there. The Eagles were playing deep, so they were given a cushion underneath to those linebackers, and Perry just goes boom and met Randy Logan in the end zone.
So that's how it feels. Throw a touchdown and get your hands high in the air, even in the waning moments of a rather painful experience. It's 24-9 in favor of the Eagles. 2 minutes and 22 seconds left. Janello, out of a hold by Bruner, makes it 24-10. Leon Perry, who caught that pass, he caught an 11-yard touchdown pass against Oakland last year. He's a 2-year man out of Mississippi. And interestingly enough for Perry, he was the starting fullback in 3 of the Giants' 4 wins, despite the fact he started only 5 times. So they play fairly well when Leon Perry's in there, and he came up with the TD. And that's Lawrence Taylor walking like Jim Brown over there.
Yeah, he looks a little tired. One of the Giants is still down there on the 2-yard line. He didn't get up from that last play.
And it's Turner, I believe.
Van Pelt, there's someone that has been through a lot. He's been in the Pro Bowl the last 5 years, and of course he's also experienced a lot of losing.
It was J.T. Turner shaken up and apparently coming off under his own power. There's the scoring drive. It took the Giants 13 plays to go 92 yards, and they consumed almost 5 minutes. Topped off by Phil Simms to Leon Perry for 19 yards in the touchdown. Dinello's kick, and it is 24-10 Eagles, and there's Joe Pisarcik, who apparently will be at the wheel when the Eagles get the ball. And of course everybody in the park looking what? Onside kick now, John?
Onside kick, as we can see the Eagles there. They have 10 men up on the restraining line. So they're expecting and waiting for an onside kick with only 1 man deep.
And they have Edwards and Robinson and Spagnola, but they're going to pooch it back inside the 30, finally picked up by Wally Henry. And Henry's going to go down at about the 33-yard line.
Is that what that is?
I don't know where that came from.
I've always heard pooch, and I didn't know what it ever meant. And now we just saw a pooch.
There you go. That's a small dog.
Yeah.
Atlanta 27, New Orleans nothing. A final score.
They pooched New Orleans.
And how? They pooched the bummer. And Miami knocks off St. Louis 20-7.
Applause is for Joe Pisarcik.
No, it's not. To be honest, it is for a blonde who is quite well endowed walking up the aisle of the lower deck. So help me.
You don't miss a thing,
Not
do
a
you?
thing if I can help it. That's Louis Giamona. I swear to you.
No.
A winner.
I'm watching field and the quarterbacks and everything, and you're watching blondes in the stands.
Well, I had to find out why they were applauding. That was why.
Well, Phil Simms is a quarterback that replaced Joe Pisarcik.
Well, she's gone now. She had shiny red slacks on, John.
I think you made that up.
No, I wouldn't dare. 2 minutes left. 24-10 Philadelphia. Hey.
These people all have one thing in common besides a happy smile. They all own dependable Toyota Corollas.
This Corolla is the most dependable car I've ever had.
I can rely on it.
We own 4 Corollas right now, so I know they're well built.
Dependability. It's probably one reason the Toyota Corolla is the best-selling car in the world.
Dependable? Our company bought 34 Corollas.
What a feeling. Dependable. Toyota.
In one of the wilder games of the day, Pittsburgh leading Kansas City now 33-30 on a 41-yard pass from Bradshaw to Jim Smith. And we have yet another, and that's a tough one. Look at that. Baltimore 29, New England 28. That's a 4-yard pass from Grogan to Don Hasselback to get New England close.
Now, you still don't think that applause was for Pisarcik, huh?
Well, there'll be applause at Flushing, New York today because the U.S. Open tennis will follow this football game. With 2 minutes left, 24-10 Eagles, and Joe Pisarcik running the Eagles show. He has Oliver and Giamona out of the eye. Giamona butts his way out to about the 47-yard line.
Now, I'm sure that we've seen our last Eagle pass today. Joe Pisarcik is in there just to get a little work, keep the ball on the ground, get the game over with.
I guess Pisarcik can never come to the stadium without thinking of his last-second fumble and the recovery and touchdown run by Herman Edwards to give the Eagles a game that the Giants thought surely they had won.
And that handoff to Larry Zonka. Yep. Oh, they'll never forget that here in New York.
1st and 10 on the Eagle 48. And this is Oliver, and Byron Hunt held them for Van Pelt to come over and bring him down.
I wonder if Ron Jaworski is sending in the signals to Joe Pisarcik, or if they've just went to the coach.
Looking down on the sidelines, Jaworski is taking things easy.
Well, he was given a signal. That was a signal for call in the dogs and put out the fire. The hunt's over.
Ah. What does that explain? What does that explain? Our senior producer, Charles H. Milton III. Producer, Robert D. Stenner, down in the truck, along with our director, Tony Verna.
Too tough, Tony.
Producer, Michael Albanese, and to all the fellas who worked so hard and so long to get this ball game on the air and keep it on.
It's a pleasure to work with these people. It really is.
John, you know, you were the 21st round draft choice of the Philadelphia Eagles. Did you ever play for Philadelphia?
I did. I was injured in training camp, and I had knee surgery, so I was out the whole year. I always say I played for them.
2nd and 7 on the 49, and Giamona is grabbed by Harry Carson, and down he goes. We'd also like to thank Dr. Bob Woods for his statistical help today here in the booth as we get down to a minute.
You know, that was a great thing about the Super Bowl this year, Vin. We had the Oakland Raiders in it and the Philadelphia Eagles, so I had a winner either way. If Oakland wins, well, I used to coach Oakland, and if Philadelphia wins, I used to play for Philadelphia. I had the thing either way.
Green Bay, Chicago, in Green Bay, in what must be a pressure year for Bart Starr, leading the Bears 13-6. The 6 points, Walter Payton went 11 yards. Meanwhile, Detroit, with Billy Sims scoring from a yard out with 18 seconds left, leading San Francisco 24-17. That's Sims' second touchdown of the day.
You can't hold a great running back down. It was 17-17 the last time we saw that, and we were just wondering when Billy Sims would again make his presence known.
In fact, in talking about Sims, we say it's his second touchdown of the day. Actually, the other long run got down to the 5-yard line, and eventually the touchdown came as a result of Sims' long run. So he scored one and set up the other. 3rd and 5 from the 47. We have 1 minute and 4 seconds left. Charlie Smith is wide right. Spagnola and Presley are the tight ends. And they'll go to Giamona yet again. That's a little tough. Mopping up, so to speak, John. They're not looking past, so the linemen are tired. They're annoyed as far as the Giants are concerned. They know they're going to lose. They probably take a few extra pops at you there in the last minute.
Right, it is. And you always want to have a good mopper-upper on your team. And Giamona, seriously, is a good mopper-upper. I had Pete Banaszak. He was good at that, because they're solid guys that aren't going to fumble. You're trying to mop up or run out the clock, but you don't want to cough it up and let the other team pick it and, and run it into the end zone. And you need the solid guys, and the Eagles will, do that. They ate up time on the clock. There's only 58 seconds.
And, of course, for Giamona, as you look at Alvin Garrett, he was originally an 8th-round draft choice by the other New York team, the New York Jets. So it's a chance for him to show something else. Max Runiger will be punting from the Eagle 45. Garrett standing on the Giant 5. 58 seconds left in the game. Runiger kicks it out of bounds, and the Giants will put it in play with 51 seconds left. 24-10 in favor of Philadelphia. They will spot the ball at the Giants' 16-yard line. So a nice punt from Max Runiger. Don't forget, United States Open Tennis Championships immediately following football. 1st and 10 on the Giants' 16-yard line. Sims looking down the middle, and he completes it to the 25-yard line to Ernest Gray, and all over him is Frank LeMaster. Not only will you see U.S. Open tennis today, but of course you'll have highlights and updates all during the week. Sims to Billy Taylor, who drops it. That might be fatigue, huh, John?
I think that's about the 6th or 7th one that they've dropped on Sims today. You know, Vin, watching that last punt of running, I was wondering, can you punt a pooch?
I can walk a pooch.
Or do you just kick a pooch? Kick a pooch, pass a pooch, punt a pooch.
3rd and 1 on a 26-yard line with 28 seconds left to go. There's another reminder, U.S. Open Tennis Championships immediately following, plus tomorrow. 3rd and 1, and Sims cranks up and throws across the middle to Johnny Perkins, who is upended with a flag on the play. Blackmore took him down at the Eagle 45. We have 18 seconds left. And we'll have a timeout to stop the clock.
And the timeout because of the penalty.
Offside defense, number 78, refused. First down.
Oh, Hairston is still punching that time clock.
All right. All of them are. And they stopped the clock to let the chains come up. Whoops. That'll stop the clock. They were going on 3 and the offense left on 1. Flag.
All right, 1st and 15 for the Giants on their 49-yard line, almost midfield. 16 seconds left. Well, more time on the clock than there is on the scoreboard. Sims to Freedy with Jerry Robinson on his back, and I think they're going to penalize Carl Hairston again.
Right, it's against the Eagles. They jumped early, but that's the time that you like to have a deep pattern going because it's really a free play. You can throw it up there, and if you get the completion, fine. If you don't, even if you get an interception, you know you get the ball back in the down over.
Yeah, Hairston was coming out of the chute long before the play.
Well, sometimes you like to get a run at it, and you like to get a head start. But of course, that's something that Dick Vermeil will get on them during the week about.
78 defense. First down.
Well, the Rams are on the scoreboard against Houston in Anaheim. LA 7-0 over the Oilers. And Sims loses the football. Falling on it is Ernie Hughes, the center. And that's about it. So for the Giants, a very disappointing day. They wind up the game with a fumble. For Philadelphia, they were as good as they had to be. They never really seemed to be out of control, John, although it took them a little while to get started.
Well, I think like we said, in the first half when the Giants were trying to run out the clock and they fumbled, I think that was the start of their frustration. I think fumbling the last snap here was the end of their frustration.
Yep, and the end of the day, mercifully. Philadelphia 24, the Giants 10. If you missed the scoring, the Giants scored on a 27-yard field goal by Joe Danello. Perry Harrington scored from 1 yard out, however, to lead the Eagles 7-3. Franklin kicked a 47-yard field goal to make it 10-3. Rodney Parker caught a 55-yard touchdown pass to make it 17-3. Wilbert Montgomery scored from 1 yard out to make it 24-3. And the Giants on a pass from Sims to Leon Perry finally made it 24-10, and that was the ball game. For the Eagles, a good workout as they set forth in pursuit of the Super Bowl. And for the Giants, a discouraging beginning, but it's a young ball club and there's 15 games left and they play Washington next week.
But the one thing that they had was Lawrence Taylor. I was very impressed with him.
Well, we can see some scores now. Baltimore 29, New England 28 in the fourth quarter. And that thing is still very much up for grabs. New England just scored to get close. Atlanta pretty much having their own way with Bum Phillips in New Orleans. So George Rogers couldn't get on the scoreboard. Atlanta shut him out 27-0. Kansas City and Pittsburgh in a seesaw ball game, which not only shows you that Pittsburgh knows how to play, but as you said, John, Kansas City might be one of the dark horses.
And that's a lot of points, 70 points in that game.
And here's a lot of points. Cincinnati down has suddenly turned it around to take the lead against Seattle, 27-21. Now for John Madden, Vin Scully saying so long from Giant Stadium. The final score, 24-10 Philadelphia.
This is CBS.